Boom, boom, mic check. Woohoo! Celebrate! First member ever! Whoop, whoop! Whoop, whoop! Yeah! Hell yeah! You guys are awesome.
Are we resorting to comedy hour now? Obviously.
Gravity. La La Land is reserved for special people that double speak, that say open is closed, closed is open.
La La Land, we are in La La Land.
Gravity.
Obviously. La La Land, La La Land, La La Land, we are in La La Land.
Gravity. Gravity. Gravity.
Obviously.
Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Boom! Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Florida to the YouTube universe. This is Jose JG Gonzalez. And no, this is not a sub from Chinese or Japanese old school karate movies to English. Yeah, I like the way that the mouth doesn't move with the movement, you know, it's just so off sync, which is so make it so much better. Thank you all for being here. Dude, shout out guys, we got it. We got the membership thing going on. I just got it approved last night. I mean, I actually went, I said like, what is going on? If a bunch of people is getting this membership, they don't have a lot of subs. So I pulled it up and I just got a bunch of new members in the house. We have Farmer's Boy just joined the combo. And for Farmer's Boy, who is Farmer's Boy? Well, Farmer's Boy, shame on you. You don't have any content. You only have 9 subscribers. Hey, Blue Marble. But hey, there you are, Farmer's Boy. We also have Rusty P. Rusty P. Join the show. Hey, Rusty P got a few gaming. Hey, wait. Should I be sharing the screen? Yes. Should I be sharing the screen? Let's do this first. This is all off the top. All right, we got, yeah, we got Rusty P. This is number 2. Rusty, of course, man. You got a few. Look, this is Rusty. Rusty channel right here. So go check it out because YouTube screwed up. When you click the 3 dots, it doesn't give you the option for the channel anymore. So you got the link for Rusty P giving a subscribe just like I did now. We also have RT96. RT, do you have any content in your channel? I hope you do. Shit, 2 subscribers. What the hell? Have Jose subscribe to you, man. Have Jose subscribe to you, brother. RT96, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. Hey, that's all, Rusty. It's time that you start creating content and uploading videos, brother. Who else do we have over here? Kid with the all access package. All access package. Well, I'll explain very shortly what these tiers of membership are. Well, Kid, Kid have some happy dogs stuff right here. All right. So this is the channel for Kid. Kid, it's time that you come in one day in the show and start arguing with some of these people that you appreciate. You hate content, Brandon. You are watching content being created right now in real time. And we got Stringer News. Stringer News. Thank you, brother. Thank you, everybody. Wow, you guys are awesome. Okay, we copy right here. We subscribe to Stinger. Hey, 1 year ago, not looking good. Have you typed anything? Stringer. All right, string it on. Oh, I put the dollar symbol. Use the hashtag. No wonder why. There you go. Boom. That's his channel. Yeah, guys, we pulled that off. We got the channel membership, and we have 4. We got the channel shout out. So when you join in the cheapest package, you will get a shout out for your channel. As for your link will be shared throughout the day, a few times in a day. Hopefully you get more traffic and more subscribers. That's the $3.99, which is the one that GPS just joined. Welcome to the channel shout outs. We got the access unlisted videos, dude. I got probably hundreds of hours of after shows that I got uploaded in my Flip Flop channel on private. Do all access unlisted. You will get access to these links and you will be able to watch hours and hours of show. Dude, there's so much content that is ridiculous. You got the all access. All access is you get to get the links previous to the shows if you wish to. You get to get my contact. If you wish to have my phone number, I'll give it to you. I don't care because you can call me whenever you want. You can call me on Skype, Discord, anytime, and I will answer. You know, I'm always here. If I'm really busy, I will let you know, like, no, now, asshole, go away, click, hang up, you know. But for the meanwhile, you can contact me anytime. You say, hey, Jose, this is the show. I really like you to do the show. Your comments will be read around the way, you know, will be addressed to the panel. So the all access is worth it, man. And then the boss is the biggest tier. You got everything, including the power to remove members in the panel. You just tag me at Jose. I don't want Piche there anymore. He's fucking up the show. Boom! Piche will be out with the boss package. So be the boss. Let's do it. All right, GPS. Where you at, GPS? Let's find GPS channel right here. Uh-oh, we gotta refresh this. And then we'll shall move on with the show. The show must go on. That's tempting. That's tempting, kid. I know, I'm telling you, man. Hey, GPS right here. I think GPS got some good stuff going on right here. Look at that. 1 month ago, hey, and I've been subscribed to you, brother. You see that? Hey, thank you, GPS, for becoming a member, brother. Tag GPS. Channel is this one. Boom. Quality is horrible but the point is made. John Hawkins is sharing some links. Well, guy, hang out with each other, engage with each other. Let me stop presenting. And the festivities are about to begin. Share the show, hit the thumbs up. Let's get 100 thumbs up today. And there's a few links in the description box. There's a link for my secondary channel, Jose JG Flip Flop. There's a link for my Discord servers. You're going to want to be a member of the Discord server so you can send me direct messages or you can engage in the calls over there. We're going to have some good stuff going in the Discord server. We're going to have a movie watch at least once a week for the all access members. We're going to hang out in a Discord room and we're going to decide what movie we're going to watch, the newer movies. And we're gonna throw it in there. We're gonna be in the call like in just one special room for members, all access members only, and we're gonna hang out to watch movies, maybe a pay-per-view event or something. You know, we'll figure it out. We'll have some fun over there with some stuff that you're not supposed to see online. And check on the PayPal link is over there if you're gonna hit me with a buck or two, and the super chat is rolling along the way. Let's get this party on the road. Hey guys, I saw one person did a new upload yesterday. I was surprised because this person doesn't do uploads often, and he told me to, hey Jose, if you want to check this out, I did a upload and maybe you're gonna want to play it. And yeah, I think I'm gonna want to play it. But first we got Mr. Gadget just became a member of the show. Thank you for joining, Mr. Gadget. And hold on. Yeah, this is a tricky one now to find the channels. And we got Mr. Gadget. Thank you, brother. Hey, you got 609 subscribers. Is this the channel? Hey, te amo, Carlos. That's so cool, man. You're awesome, brother. Bendición, man. Hey, this is Mr. Gadget. Link to his channel. Check it out. And through this channel, you can find his other channel, Carlos. So thank you, brother. I appreciate it, Mr. Gadget. You're the man. Shout outs to everybody. Thank you all for coming in. And I am lost on the link I was going to play. I got it. Let me see. Okay. Let me hit pause. And I am going to share my screen one more time. We're going to enjoy this video. And we're going to open the panel. You know whose video this is for? This is from? This is kind of an odd one because we have a Hey guys, if I get anything rolling while this video is going, I will come back at you after, like right at the end of the video. All right, guys? I appreciate it. Thank you for your patience. All right, this is from Dark Seed. Dark Seed got 10 subscribers, and look, he put up a video. Flat Earth Kent missile. Ha! I think this is in honor to ESI Montreal. So let's take a little look on this one. I didn't mean to full screen. Let's take a look to this one and enjoy. Really, you don't hear anything. Really, you don't hear anything. Son of a bitch. Why? You should hear things. What the fuck? Really? Let me go and sort it out. All right. 1 second. Oh fuck! I got it. Damn it! Woo! Because I'm sharing it on a different format. I totally forgot. Damn, this is fucked up. So I'm gonna play that in 1.25 speed because I really did screw it up. I should have done this.
I created this video to clear up a gross misconception and severe case of cherry picking about how the Sea Sparrow missile engages with surface targets. I am familiar with the operation of this weapons system based on my service in the United States Navy as an intelligence officer. The purpose of this video is to provide real-world evidence which debunks the claim that the mode of operation of the Sea Sparrow missile is positive evidence the Earth is flat, or larger than previously calculated, as has been falsely asserted by a multitude of reality deniers on the internet. All information in this video can be obtained through open source research and contains no classified information. The Sea Sparrow missile system was initially designed as a surface-to-air missile. The platform was modified to potentially engage low-altitude missile threats and fast-moving small surface vessels that may intend on carrying out an explosives-laden attack against fleet assets. The Sea Sparrow is not intended for use against large surface assets or land-based targets. The Navy has a wide array of more effective weapons platforms for these purposes, such as the Harpoon anti-ship missile or the Tomahawk cruise missile. The Sea Sparrow missile is classified as a fire-and-forget weapons system. As cited from the website We Are the Mighty, the Sea Sparrow missile includes an active seeker, which houses the radar needed for guidance in the missile, creating a fire-and-forget capability against ships and aircraft. As cited from Wikipedia, fire and forget is a type of missile guidance which does not require further guidance after launch, such as illumination of the target or wire guidance, and can hit its target without the launcher being in line of sight of the target. Generally, information about the target is programmed into the missile just prior to launch. This can include coordinates, radar measurements to include velocity, or an infrared image of the target. After it is fired, the missile guides itself by some combination of gyroscopes and accelerometers, GPS, organic active radar homing, and infrared optics. Here is a step-by-step example of how a Sea Sparrow missile system will engage with a fast-moving surface vessel. Early warning radar systems on an aircraft such as the E-2 Hawkeye identify an incoming hostile surface threat. Range, direction, and speed of the threat is delivered to a targeting system aboard the weapons platform ship. The targeting system relays this information to the weapons platform, which then fires a missile. It is important to note that when the missile is fired, its internal seeking radar system is not active, nor does the missile have line of sight to the target. Once airborne, the missile gains altitude to increase its effective range and radar range as it closes distance to the threat. During this phase, the missile still has not activated its internal radar system. After the missile travels the pre-programmed direction and distance which was calculated prior to launch to assure the missile is within line of sight of the target, then, and only then does the missile activate its internal seeking radar system. Once the missile's internal seeking radar acquires the target, an identify friend or foe signal is broadcast. If friendly IFF is not returned, the missile identifies the target as hostile and delivers its payload to the target.
Boom!
A near analogous system in the Navy can be observed in submarine combat. The submarine identifies a hostile target through various means to include sonar or visual. Range to target is determined and a torpedo is programmed to activate its internal targeting sonar when close to the target to deliver the ordnance. An example many people will be familiar with that better illustrates this analogy is the climactic battle in the movie The Hunt for a Red October. Torpedoes are fired in a calculated direction and generally have no idea where the enemy is located until their guidance sonar systems are activated to identify the target. The Sea Sparrow missile operates in a nearly identical fire and forget fashion against surface targets.
Torpedo, get ahead! You arrogant ass. You've killed us.
The most important facts to remember is that the Sea Sparrow missile does not have line of sight to the target when launched. Its active seeking radar system does not acquire surface target prior to launch. Nor is its radar active at launch. The missile seeking radar is not activated until it is close enough to its target in order to avoid potential friendly fire issues. At no time is the Sea Sparrow seeking radar system activated outside of line of sight to a surface target, and anyone who asserts this weapons platform provides any evidence concerning the shape of the Earth may just be living in
La la land, la la land, la la land, we are in la la land.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.
Booyah! Shout out to Dark Seed. Thank you, Dark Seed, for putting up this nice content, man. I appreciate it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I received a comment and he said like, hey, Jose, I uploaded a video, go check it out. He kind of got motivated due to the topic that was spoken over here about this Sparrow missile. So good on you, brother. Yeah, good to hear that. Good to hear that people is getting motivated at creating content to get traffic, people going and coming and keeping the discussion going and find out, the right path. A lot of people is way out there. Some people is kind of a little bit over here, and we need to go boom straight. So big shout out to everybody. Big thank you to everybody that became members. Wow, first day I got a bunch of members over here. So check it out. Let's share the link and let's get this party on the road. All right, let's do it. Saturday, What? Madness? Did I title this Saturday Madness? Let's do it. Booyah. How about that? I hope I am in the right account. So, hope I am the right account. Yes, I am. Boom.
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 Big about a boom.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. We got some people coming in, fiddling around with some stuff. Excellent. You got your camera on today, Montreal? I don't see your icon. There you go.
There it is.
Whoa. Abort. Abort. All right.
Oh,
We get a few more people. Yeah. That was
interesting
cool.
little thing.
That's really cool. Shout out to Darcy for that.
Yeah. Good work.
Sweet.
Good morning, Jose.
Morning, sir. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm still clicking over here. Go ahead.
Many months ago, I said essentially, well, a lot of what this guy said, he knew more about it than I did, but I said essentially that missile was fired down a line of bearing and doesn't necessarily see the target upon launch. But, SC Montreal just basically said, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Once again, you all missed the point. And Mr.
What was the point?
Darkseid, you're full of crap.
What was
You
the
do-
point? Why? Explain why.
He's talking. Yeah, I will, if you shut up. The ESS.
Nice. Not, yeah.
ESS block.
Straight to the abuse, Montreal. You've only been on for 10
Let me.
No,
let me-
you started
wait,
the abuse.
Montreal,
You interrupted me. I'm always a gentleman.
Let me give you a proper welcome because I was expecting everybody was going ding dong ding dong. Yeah, I was allowing people in. I was waiting for the break so I can look at the list and give you a proper welcome. The people in the panel today. It's gonna be feisty. It's gonna be excited today's show. I feel it. I see it coming. So let's chill out, everybody. I want to welcome Adric. Adric, let's get a mic check. Good morning, sir.
How you going, big fella?
Hey, hey. Brenda, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm relatively okay, but congratulations.
Thank you very much. And push through it, Brenda. We're going to make it. You're going to be all right. Carlos, morning. What's up, man? Bendición.
Good morning. Glad to be a member. It's an honor. It's an honor.
Hey, gracias, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's all kinds of fun. I say, like, why not? Might as well throw it over there,
If we don't support things we like, they will go away.
Thank you, sir. I totally agree with that. Yep. Appreciate it. Erebus, good morning. How you doing, man?
I am good.
Good, good. Farmer's boy, mic check, mic check.
Yeah, I'm also glad to be a member, considering I'm here, I think, every day. So, yeah, by means of appreciation, I really couldn't resist becoming a member. And, yeah, long may it continue.
Thank you very much, brother. I really do appreciate it. And I always think, I always appreciate your support and your feedback. Coming in the panels, mostly quiet, laid back. I know you wanna have a bigger participation, but I appreciate it. It's good always to jump in every once in a while and be heard. So thank you for your.
We can't all shout at the same time, can we?
Exactly. Yeah. George, check mic 1 2.
Yeah, hey there, Jose. You really surprised me, Jose. I mean, that video so disrespects your sidekick.
Right. Wow. Yeah, right. Let's get my checks from the other 3 more people over here. We got Rusty in the house. Rusty, can you get a mic check?
Yeah, hello. I also appreciate being a member. I found you a couple days ago, and I think your videos and streams pretty cool, man. Really like them. I want to support you a little bit.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Yeah, and I see you've been active in Chongji, and I seen you here for the past few days. Glad to have you here in this corner and participating and jumping in. That's the whole idea, to all participate in the topic that we enjoy to do. Thank you. Let me get 2 mic checks and give a big shout out in the chat. Schrodinger's cat, check 1 2.
Good morning, Jose. Always happy to be here. Let me show for myself real quick. Sean G is going to be hosting myself and Bob the Science Guy tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be watching some Sovereign Citizen videos and laughing and drinking.
Haha. All right, cool. Sounds like fun. Everybody go check it out. And SE Montreal in the house. Can we get it? Whoop, whoop.
Sí, señor.
All right, guys. Big shout out to Tiersy. I call it Tiersy, Ters. Let me see if I can find one way to mention it. Ters, big shout out to Ters. He became a member of the show. Big shout out to Ters. And this is, let me throw a quick link to Ters' channel because he had more subscribers than I thought so. Look at that, Ters. I wasn't even subscribed to you. Shame on me. I'm subscribing now. And this is the link for Ters' channel. Go check it out. He actually do have content over there. And thank you for the super chat, brother. He hit me up with a super chat. Time for SE to Donning-Kruger. Well, the floor is yours. I think that's the segue. SE, what were you saying previously that I interrupted? The show is on. I'll mute myself. Boom.
Thank you. The so-called missile expert who served in the Navy was 100% wrong about the Sea Sparrow ESSM Block 1 RIM 162D, which we were talking about. It is not a fire and forget missile, my friend. Delete your video. You are wrong.
Well, who wants to address that? Schrödinger, do you think you are? I think. Go ahead, Carlos. Yep.
No, I just said citation.
Did he say block 1, block 2? Did he mention either block?
That's right. He didn't even know the difference between Block 1 and Block 2. The guy's a joker. If he served in the Navy, I'm a farmer.
Well done, I'm not. Did he actually mention blocks, or was he just talking about the Sea Sparrow?
Exactly. He had no clue what he was talking about. He just put them all in one. The guy has no clue.
Did he have this much trouble answering a straightforward question? Did he mention the blocks?
No, he did not.
Thank you. So he wasn't making a definition between a block 1 or a block 2. He was just talking about the ESSM.
Exactly. He got it all wrong, farmers. Which part of that do you not understand?
Which part of active radar homing do you not understand?
The part that the Block 1 RIM 162 ESSM Block 1 does not have, farmers. Do you have wax in your ears?
No, because the Block 2 does.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about the Block 2. And the Block 2 hasn't come into service yet. It's coming in this year. Are you aware of that, farmer's boy?
Oh dear boy, I'm
obviously
aware.
not, right? You just came here to talk, as usual.
So you know the entire history of the Sparrow missile, do you? No, you don't. So shut up.
So you do. You shut up.
Okay.
What do you know about it? Give us, okay, farmer's girl, give us your thing. Tell us what you know about the ESSM Block 1 or 2.
Hold that thought.
Go ahead, farmers.
Hold that thought, please. You hear me, right? Montreal. Please.
I'm going to hold him to the fire, Jose, because he's a smart ass.
Allow me, please. Allow me, please. 1 second. Let me do this really quick. And please, we're going to stop the insults and the name calling. Let's try to keep it more adult. You know, I know it's fist to the fire, but farmer's girl was unnecessary. Let's keep it low. Now, there's a join button in the bottom of the stream. If you want to check it out, and you got different perks. I uploaded a little trailer kind of explaining it. I did it on the go last night. You got $3.99 a month. You get channel shout outs. I will share the link to your channels along the way on the chat, you know, and give you a proper shout out. And hopefully you get traffic going. Access unlisted videos. I got a shitload of unlisted videos after shows that I recorded from a year ago until today, until yesterday. I got after shows almost every day, and I got it uploaded on the Jose Flip Flow channel as private. I'm going to move those to unlisted, and then I'm going to share the link with those members as a direct message. I'm going to share the links with you on the unlisted videos so you can check them out. All access, you're going to have access to direct messages. You can have my phone number if you wish to. You can give me ideas to the show. You're going to have your your comments read along the way. No need to super chat or nothing like that. Just, type in the comments and questions to the panels and we will read them. Plus, once a week, we're going to do a movie night on the Discord on a private room for its members. And the boss is the big one. You are the boss and you are in charge of who do you think should leave the call. If you think somebody's being disrespectful, if somebody is bringing the panel down, if you're not happy how it's running, you say, at Jose JG, we need this person out of the room.
Dang.
We will make it happen. So if you want to be the boss, you're gonna be charged once a month this amount. So choose your package, and here we go. Now, if you are access unlisted, you're gonna have access to this and the previous one. If you're all access, you're gonna have access to all of the perks, and the boss, you have access for everything. So you got my direct contacts. You call me in the phone during the show. I'll answer your call. He said, yo, Jose, you got to ask this person this, easier. We'll do it. So let's make it happen, I think it's going to be fun.
The boss can kick out anybody?
He can kick out anybody. Yes, he can tell me in the chat, Jose, I don't...
You. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that wouldn't make sense.
I kicked him out.
RT96 hit me up with it. RT96 hit me up with a $5 super chat. So only very insecure and sexiest people think that calling others female is an insult. Woman rock. Shout out to RT96. You're right, brother. Guys, Montreal and Farmers Boy, you all like to have a little combo, a few minutes. Just keep it low, chill, relax. Come on, Montreal. Do you ask Farmer Boy a question? Go ahead, Farmer Boy. If you remember.
Right then, the RIM 162 evolved Sea Sparrow missile is a development of the RIM 7 Sea Sparrow, which is of course a development of the AIM 7 air-launched interception missile, which was first introduced in 1959, which was designed to be launched from an aircraft. They then developed that into the RIM 7, and don't ask me why the US Navy Class R, as meaning ship-launched, I don't quite understand it, but there you go. The RIM 7 is the Sea Sparrow version of the Sparrow, and they had to make several modifications to it because one problem was the rocket didn't give it maximum instant thrust because it's designed to be dropped from an aircraft, then the motor would light and away it would go. Then the Sea Sparrow became the ESSM, the RIM 162 evolved Sea Sparrow. Now that does have much cleverer guidance system on board. And the one we're talking about, the most advanced version of it, is the Block 2, which has fully active radar homing. All versions previous to that had semi-active homing, which means they just pick up the signal being bounced off the target by another transmitter. What's so difficult about that?
What's so difficult about that? Mr. Darkseid mentioned none of that in his thing. He made it look like, This is exactly what it is. There's two missiles. There's the Block 1 and the Block 2. The Block 2 has not come into service yet. So what's your issue here? What's your point? Everything I said previous about this missile is correct 100%. What's your issue here?
Well, no, it actually, the question is, what's your issue? Is your issue the same as what QE said? Is because the missile's got a theoretical range, that means its range takes it over the horizon, therefore it must be a flat Earth?
I don't make that claim. The claim I made previously was if the range is so further than the horizon, it means at minimum that the Earth is larger than they say it is. That's the only claim I have ever made.
Yes, but that's wrong.
Well, of course it's wrong. Well, and you're going to tell us why, right, farmers?
Yes, just because a rocket's got a theoretical range doesn't mean to say it's designed to go that range.
Yeah, we had this issue before. The issue today is not the range of the missile. The issue today is Darkseid's video and how he got it all wrong.
No,
he's trying to play the expert. Hold on. He's trying to play the expert that he served in the Navy. Meanwhile, he didn't mention the difference between the Block 1 and the Block 2, and that the Block 2 has not been in service yet. To me, that's an error. That's all I'm saying.
Block 2's been fired.
You do realise that Block 1 isn't just semi-active radar.
It is absolutely semi-active radar, and it came into service in 2006. Do your homeworks, farmer, because I've done mine.
Oh, so you didn't know what the AIM-7 Sparrow was then that came into service in 1959, but I haven't done my homework. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, really? Were we talking about the A7 that came out in 1959? Or were we talking about the Block 1 and the Block 2?
Oh! Here we go, and the silly voices have started. Thank you very much.
No, but you're saying stupidities. You're saying stuff that I didn't say. When did I ever mention the missile in 1959?
No,
you're trying to squirm away from your boy Darcy. He made an error. He made an error. He's wrong, and that's all there is to it, farmers. Whatever you say, you're going to change that.
I'm going to share the link. I'm going to share the link to that video of Darcy in just 2 minutes. I'm just moving some stuff around.
I would love to see where the mistakes are in Darcy's video.
And I want to do a big shout out to Sean Smith. He hit me up with $2. Thumbs up, peeps. Also, denial isn't a win. Big shout out to Sean Smith. Indeed, hit the thumbs up and don't deny it. Talk about it. Figure it out.
It's not denial. I am pointing out the mistake he made. You don't like it? It's too bad. He said that the Sea Sparrow missile is, let me finish, farmers. He said it's fire and forget. It is not. He is wrong.
No, he's not.
Period.
No, he's
yes,
not.
he is.
If he was talking about the block, if he was talking about the Block 2, he's correct.
Then he should have mentioned it.
All right. So, assuming you're talking about one missile and he's talking about a different missile, why does that make him wrong?
Because he said it as the Sea Sparrow missile. He came in like the expert I've served, blah, blah, blah. No, my friend. You're full of crap. You got it wrong.
It's the current
model. You got
model.
it wrong.
The Block 2 is the current model.
Wrong.
The current model.
He made a mistake. He got it wrong.
No.
If you guys don't admit that, I'm gonna leave right now.
Oh, off you go then.
He did it wrong.
He got it wrong. He said it's a fire and forget missile. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
The Block 2.
Did he get it wrong? Yes or no?
No, he didn't. The Block 2 is fire and forget.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, bye. Jesus, what a child.
Well, I was thinking of other words, but yeah.
Boo, Montreal.
The point he's missing is this, right? If the Block 1 is semi-active and the Block 2 is active, right, it doesn't matter because when you're firing at a surface target, they both use what's called a loft trajectory, right? So programmed into the missile pre-launch is a range and a bearing, right? Now that comes in most instances, if you're firing at a target over the horizon, it's coming from an AWACS aircraft. In a naval context, that'll be an E2, it'll be a EC3, right? What do they call them? Right. So it doesn't matter that the ship firing the missile can't see the target because the target data is downloaded from an aircraft at 30,000 feet, which can see it, right? With the Block 1, the data with the approximate location of the target is loaded into the missile. The missile then fires a loft trajectory until it can see the target, right? And then in the Block 1, it's following a radar signal that's being projected onto the target, usually from an aircraft. Okay, so you need some target painting from, one would normally presume, the same aircraft that downloaded the target data in the first place.
Yeah.
The Block 2. Same thing, receives the data, is launched with a loft trajectory, and then instead of following a radar signal bounced off from a target painting aircraft, it follows its own radar signal. That's why it's called active, because it has the ability to ping its own radar. Right? That's the only difference.
Semi-active is just a receiver, isn't it? Whereas fully active,
semi-active
you can ping a signal out and receive it back.
Yeah, but the point being, in both cases, you can fire it over the horizon because the target, in the first half of its trajectory, or the first 2/3 of its trajectory, it's flying using inertial navigation or GPS or something, or a combination of the two. It's flying towards the bearing and range of a target that it can't see. It then gets enough altitude where it can see either the target from its own active radar in the case of a Block 2, or the radar reflection from a targeting aircraft in the case of a Block 1. His whole argument is rubbish.
Well, what you've also got to remember is that even the Block 1, they can adjust its course It has data uplinks.
Mm.
It doesn't have its own onboard radar transmitter, but they still have data connections to it. They can adjust the course of the missile manually themselves.
And at least in the case of the Block 2, because it's got an IFF squawk, presumably it could self-destruct as well.
Hey, let me jump in really quick. 114 people watching. Wow, boom!
Cool.
And I didn't even share the show on Discord as I used to do. I'm about to go and share it. Not the best side of SC Montreal today. Hope you are okay, my friend. Shout out the kid for that comment.
I have a couple questions, and I know nothing about this stuff, so maybe my asking questions will help. My understanding is when QE Quantum Racer John loves this argument, and he always makes the point that the targeting system is on the ship, practically right next to the missiles, and he's saying that the targeting system is line of sight. And therefore, that because that targeting system, the radar, is line of sight, and since the claim is that the missiles have over-the-horizon targeting ability, that this proves that the Earth must be flat. And do I have that basically right?
It was that, and the combination of the fact that the missile rocket has a particular range, which would mean it would take it over the horizon.
Yeah.
That was, I think that was the other half of his argument. Oh, look, you're saying it's line of sight. That should only be, I don't know, up on the height of the ship. Maybe it can see 5 or 6 miles. But here's a rocket whose range is 30 miles plus. They must be long. No, it's just
what I'm hearing,
a range of 30 plus miles. That's all.
And so what I'm hearing from people is that there is a targeting aircraft that downloads the targeting data to the missiles prior to launch. And then it takes a loft trajectory, which I assume is basically get high enough so that you can see the target, and then go towards the target, basically, right? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And okay, I got it.
I mean, in the modern U.S. Navy, all of this comes down to protecting their ships, particularly the carriers. The aircraft carrier is their most powerful vessel. Now, that has a fleet of ships around it that's servicing it, supporting it, and protecting it. And then flying above that, amongst all the other things, you have fighters flying combat air patrols, trying to keep the enemy away. They have the Navy version of the AWACS. They have an airborne radar system. Now, that radar system is quite complex, and that can do things like say, look, hello, Mr. Missile, there's your target. Please fly over there.
That's the E2C Hawkeye is what you're talking about.
That's it, the Hawkeye. Yeah.
Actually, I think they're up to the E2D by now, but I could be wrong. I've been out of the game for a while.
Yeah. But mind you, that can be a normal E3 AWACS as well if you're in.
They all talk to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything. That's the amazing thing now. Everything talks to everything.
But of course, that also leads to the question: why do they have to put a radar system on an aircraft and get it up high? Oh, that's right, because it gives you more range. Why? So you can see over the horizon.
You can see over the curve.
Well, adding to that is the fact that for a lot of lay people, all of these letters and numbers and generations of military equipment, it's really confusing. People's my eyes just glaze over when you cite all that stuff, and
that's what the charlatans count on.
Yes,
it's just overwhelming people, and you sound like you know what you're talking about when you're just throwing out, the Block 2, the Block 3.
Yeah, and the Sparrow missile itself that this is based on wasn't that successful, and the main problem was because it was semi-active radar. They couldn't at the time put a radar transmitter in the nose of a missile effectively. And
let's invite Montreal back. Come on, get Montreal. But guys, you got it then. Like, I mean, I know either he was right or wrong. Try to I don't know, relax. He's just one guy, and there's 3, 4, 5 of you that wanted to engage him. So just let's invite him back and let's see if he can go a little better than it was. Montreal, I want to give it a second.
I mean,
Yeah. In fairness, he's the one that came in so hot because he was butthurt.
Oh no, I understand.
Nobody attacked him. Oh, to address something that somebody mentioned, The missile system has different launch platforms.
Oh yeah.
You know, they commonly show it with the typical like rocket tube, you know, where you can adjust it and it fires and all that kind of stuff like a gun.
Oh, well, like the angled box.
Right.
Pointed up at the sky a little bit. Yeah, you're going to mention vertical launch cells, aren't you?
They have a lot of them. Yeah.
Yes.
So
they fire them straight up.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's only on cruisers and destroyers.
Yeah.
And SSGNs have vertical launch, but they're submarines, so they kind of have to.
Tell me if this is correct. Even for the Block 1, if you're firing at a surface target that you can see, then the radar guidance will actually come from the ship, won't it? Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's a photo off the Wikipedia page of 2 ESSM missiles being launched from their vertical launch cells. Does that look like it's low-level line of sight towards the horizon?
No, that's going for altitude.
Yep.
And the other thing, he's wrong about the Block 2. The Block 2 was in live firing tests in the first half of 2018, and it's
actually go ahead. A legit question: do any like ship to ship very far away go straight? Like if the ship is 30 feet above the water, is he going to take off 30 feet and keep going just level 30 feet until he hit the other one? No. It's going to be a little parabola, right?
What about Tomahawks?
Tomahawks typically will sea skim, and then they do in the terminal phase. They pop up, and come down almost vertically.
Yeah.
But I mean, for most of the transition, they're at low level. But the point is, their primary guidance is GPS, isn't it?
No, there's all kinds of ways. You could write books on all the ways that the Tomahawks.
Yeah.
But and they can even be redirected in flight. They can do something called loitering, where they just kind of hang around and fly around until they get guidance. You can launch a whole bunch of them, and some of them, the ones that launch first, will take a longer path to the target so that they all land at once. There's so many different ways. The Tomahawks are awesome.
Yeah,
but see, that loiter business, that's because it's basically an aircraft, not a missile, isn't it?
Correct. It's not a rocket. It's got a jet engine in it.
Yes,
but
it has a jet engine.
The problem with loitering missiles, as we all know, missiles have got a shit turning circle because they've only got a tiny little fence, you know.
Well, plus they're going super fucking fast.
Yeah, Mach 5 and stuff. I mean, look, this thing you see in movies of a missile missing an aircraft and then doing a 180 and coming back. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
if they miss, they tend to miss, and that's it.
The turning radius is huge, and so they just peter out.
Yeah, and they run out of fuel before they got time to come back.
Yeah, the cruise missile's 550 mile an hour, which isn't bad because it's only got a little old turbofan in it.
Yeah, but I mean, but they'll fly it up bloody valleys and everything, you know.
Well, there's reports. I think it was the first Gulf War when you'd still got reports in Baghdad and such like, and they were filming the cruise missiles coming in, flying towards their target, and they reckoned that some of the cruise missiles were following the roads. You could see them fly down a road.
Terrain mapping.
Yeah, and then hang a left.
Yeah. You can load up a map. You can load up a map onto it, and it'll follow the contours of land. It can follow roads down in valleys. It's a badass missile.
Crew were outside filming and flying overhead and saying, "Look, it's turning left at the junction."
Yeah,
it's very weird to see.
They do that cool thing with torpedoes, you know, because obviously you fire a torpedo at another submarine. You don't want the other submarine to be able to just, you know, fire back down the bearing of the torpedo. So they'll fire them off at a weird angle, really slow on wire guidance.
That's it.
And then they'll cut them loose and go active and stuff. And so the torpedo's coming from a completely different direction to where your submarine is. Right, so the direction that the torpedo's coming in doesn't give the enemy any idea of where you are.
But the Germans had something very similar towards the end of the last war. They could actually pre-program manoeuvres into their torpedoes, so they could launch them at a convoy, and at certain times the torpedoes would change direction, and then they'd loop back round again, so that you stood more chance of hitting your ship rather than just aiming at them or where you thought the ship would be. you could program the torpedo to do a set number of course corrections as it went along, which is bloody clever for 1944, I think.
Wasn't one of the reasons for that obviously it's easy to hit a ship with a torpedo if you're firing from the side?
Yes.
Whereas if you're directly astern, or ahead, you've got a pretty narrow target to hit.
Oh yeah. They always tried to hit. If it was a convoy, they try and hit it from the side, or even get inside the convoy and then shoot out. They were some ballsy people, they really were. But yeah, if you've got a whole convoy of ships, you want to shoot from the side, because if you miss one target, the chances are it will go past that and hit the ship behind, or the ship behind, or.
Yeah, and see, as I understand it, World War II torpedoes, they actually had to strike the ship to be effective, didn't they? They actually had to impact.
What they did, they did experiment with magnetic fuses, but they weren't very reliable. The Germans also developed a torpedo that was acoustic, and it could follow the sound of a ship's screws.
You wouldn't want to lock it on a wrong ship. The other
that's the problem as well. The part of their training was, when you fire this particular torpedo, you turn around and go the other way as quick as you can, just in case.
Yeah. And again, unlike the movies, air-to-air missiles don't actually have to hit the aircraft.
They've only got to get close. Yes,
they just got to get close enough.
Proximity fuse, it can detect the mass of the aircraft.
Well, or some of them simply use the swing of the seeker head. Obviously, as the missile's about to craft, the seeker head will swing in azimuth quite wildly, and that's the signal for it to go boom, because it knows it's close to the aircraft because the seeker head is moving really fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. That's got the military out of me system for 10 minutes.
Oh, I know. It's a bloody. I don't think he's coming back.
Hands up, all those who love reading Tom Clancy.
Oh, yeah. Multiple times.
He was a real detailed nerd, wasn't he?
I would recommend to Montreal, rather than telling the guy to delete his video, if he thinks he's wrong, then he can make a rebuttal video.
Oh yeah.
Look, the arrogance. I'm not just talking about Montreal, but I don't know if it was this channel or another channel a week or two back. But there was someone, Professor Phil Bell was on, talking about orbital mechanics and stuff, and this is a guy who's, undergraduate, postgraduate, doctorates, and then spent decades and decades working in the industry. And you got some bloke with, I can't remember who it was, with zero physics education, just telling him flat out he's wrong.
Well, I know who has done that, and it's our friend again who's pitching in the side chat. He has told Professor Phil so many times that he's wrong, and this is a guy who helped India launch satellites into space.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it never ceases to boggle my mind, and I've seen people do it to George as well. I mean, it's like, I know I know a little bit about some stuff, and there's some stuff I know nothing about, and I don't even join the channel if people are talking about stuff I know zip about.
Yeah.
I know a bit about aircraft and missiles and stuff because I was sort of attached to the Air Force for a little bit. But you know what I mean? You just know when you're out of your depth. I mean, I'm fascinated to know if, they think this, it's just common sense. The other one who says it all the time is Lemon Bird. I know it's just common sense. I mean, is there any field of science that they feel they can't just debunk, with common sense?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, would you go? Would you go and?
I don't think there is one. I don't think there is one.
Well, I mean, would you go and second guess your doctor? I mean, obviously, vaccines is a big issue.
Yeah, I once had a friend who was a doctor, and he had a coffee mug that said, "My doctorate, my MD beats your WebMD search."
Yes, and that is absolutely spot on. I mean, I'm not going to argue with my doctor. He's a professional. He's had many years of training, many years of experience. I'm not going to go to him and say, "How do I build a brick wall?" I'm going to go to him when I have health issues. If I want a brick wall to be built, I get a builder. But that's why you have people with skills, expertise, and the such like.
Wolfie 6020 put on a good video a couple of weeks ago, talking about the Haversine formula, which is it's a quite a complicated formula, but it's the formula you use. You can plug in 2 sets of latitude and longitudes.
Oh yes, I saw that one. Yeah.
And it will calculate the Great Circle distance.
Yeah.
To the from point A to point B. The point being, if you look at the Haversine formula, it includes the radius of the Earth in it.
Yeah.
Now obviously, if that was wrong, aircraft would run out of fuel all the time. Because they wouldn't. The destination distance would be wrong. But the people piling on in the chat just saying he's full of shit.
So what are we going to? Are we going to learn something today, or are we going to just berate on people that is not here?
Sorry, guys. Well, there's no one in. There's no one.
I do agree. Let's try to learn something.
Yeah.
Let's try to learn. Let's try to learn that you can really fool yourself by mixing up statistics on the same device. You got a missile there that says it has a rocket that can carry it 30 miles or however far, and it also says it's got a radar system that that can pinpoint stuff line of sight. Well, I had an airplane that had a VNE, which is the not to exceed speed on it, of 200 nautical miles an hour, 200 knots. But it also had another V speed that was VA, maneuvering speed, was about 120 knots. Now, if I just ignore one in preference of the other one just because I feel like it, and I try to fly that airplane at 200 knots in heavy turbulence, I'm going to rip the damn wings off of it.
Yep.
That's exactly what's going on with this.
Well, it's like airliners. Their maximum speed is at altitude. They can't fly at that speed down at low level.
No, they fly at exactly that. No. Just a moment. They fly at exactly that speed down low. Indicated airspeed. Yeah. Exactly the same.
But I think
the ground speed is
the ground speed
is greatly different.
Yes.
Hey there, farmers.
Hello,
George.
Yeah, George here. I'll congratulate you. I hear you're moving, upgrading your residence.
Hey?
Yeah, I heard you're moving into that gated community called La La Land.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought, what the hell's he on about? Yes, I've been waiting, but they're finally going to let me into La La Land. I've been looking forward to that.
La La Land.
I can go and live with all the other the great and the good who live in La La Land. Yeah. Really
Jose, we're going to have to get a flat earther in here. It's going to turn into a circle jerk.
No. But I mean, what I meant is legit. Like, are we going to just talk about people, or are we going to learn something? You guys are awesome. You guys have super big brain, and you got a lot of information that a lot of people, you guys know, they got misconceptions or misunderstandings. This is the time that you say, you know what? I heard this. Let's explain it. This is the way. Without this is the show today.
We can talk about the Haversine formula.
Well, we got Brandon in the chat talking smack about flat Earth.
Sean G last night suggested, and he set the whole panel up, is that all of us in the panel, all we could do was answer questions put to us. And in the end, it never happened because Travis. That's all I need to say, Travis. But the whole idea was that we would just answer the questions from anyone, but mainly the flat earthers, and that we weren't allowed to ask them questions back. And it never happened. I'm just wondering whether it's worth pitching his idea and trying it now, as we have a mixture of people.
I haven't gotten that far into that video yet. What happened with Travis, farmers?
Oh, it's just the same. It's the same old round and round bloody argument, isn't it? It didn't get anywhere.
It's a waste of time, what it is.
Yeah.
It's about those two things in the water that something ether band. What?
Yes, about it, yeah.
I would have a question, a neutral one.
Yes.
So even if a flat earther would know an answer to it, you could also join in. So how would you prove the shape of the Earth to someone who was born blind?
Oh, you asked this the other night, didn't you? I think.
You grab their hand and put it on Jose's head and tell him that's the shape for the Earth.
I have heard this question proposed a few times in the past week or two, and I have never heard a good way to answer it, to explain it if it's even possible.
Well,
it can't.
The mathematical proof would still
Can't be
work.
done. All the flat earthers are blind, and none of them accept that the Earth is.
Well, I'll disagree with that. I'll disagree with that, George. Okay, you could prove it, but that would also mean that you would have to prove mathematics to them. You would have to prove different things that you could demonstrate to them, so that they could take that amount of proof.
You know what I find very peculiar is like they don't accept the proofs of the molten iron core of the Earth, yet if they go to the hospital to get an ultrasound to see their baby, they believe that even though they can't see it.
I've got a way you could do it. You have to You have to take them to the Lagos and have them walk along one of the long tubes, feeling the bottom and realizing that they have to keep raising their hand as they go out along the Lagos, because the tube is going to get further and further away from the surface of the Earth as you move out.
Is that noticeable though? It's only a meter above.
Yeah, well, you build it 10 miles long.
You can take them up.
Line rail.
Take them up to the ISS and let them experience a few days of weightlessness. And the only way that can happen is if you're in orbit.
How brutal is that, though? You're now in space on board the ISS, but you can't see that incredible view.
Yeah, well, they can't see any. I've got a very close friend who's blind. I mean, it doesn't really bother them.
A blind person probably doesn't know what a beautiful view is, right?
Yeah. Well,
look, I've
had some fascinating conversations with this friend of mine. Friendly conversations trying to explain colours. I mean, how do you explain the difference between red and blue to a blind person? Someone who's been blind from birth.
Yeah, I couldn't.
The really interesting question is, what sort of dreams do blind people have? Do they see things in dreams, or not?
Black and white.
Because I mean, dreams are 90%, visual, aren't they? Really?
Yes.
They must be interesting dreams. Anyway,
they hear stuff, as far as I know.
Oh, you hear stuff. I mean,
aren't there
people? They hear.
Aren't there people? Okay. Are there people who have regained sight or limited vision after years of being blind? And
they can't use
does that happen?
Yeah, there are devices that technology have allowed us to do that. I've seen some videos. It's limited, but they got some kind of like focus lenses and cameras. A little gadget you put kind of glasses connected to some things in the brain, and you do see. I was hooked into videos like that. People hearing for the first time, people seeing for the first time, born blind and becoming blind as they were a kid, and as adults, 50, 60, 70 years old, seeing for the first time. So it's possible. It's not, the technology is not developed that far yet, but I have seen it on the internet, on the interwebs.
Brenda, I saw an interesting documentary about that, and it's more about people having their sight medically corrected. People who had sight for 4, 5, 10 years as a child, then lost it, and then got it back a couple of decades later, had no problem. But there was a really interesting problem with people who had never had sight and then had it medically corrected, and there's a lot of difficulty with their brains understanding what they're seeing. So, for example,
that was really curious to me.
I mean, the blind person has a definite tactile concept of what an apple is, but if at the age of 35 they get their sight and you show them an apple, apparently there's something in the wiring, and they simply can't connect their previous experience of what an apple is with this shape they're seeing. And for some people, they it's almost like they never end up with sight that's terribly useful to them.
Well,
it's like the wiring has to be laid down as a child.
Yeah, I wonder if it's not a lot like language. Like there's a window for learning language, and feral children or children that have been severely abused or neglected and not been taught to speak can't get full language abilities if they miss that window of opportunity in which to acquire a language. And I was just wondering if visually there was some sort of similar thing going on, but I have no idea. I have no idea. It's interesting.
It's some sort of neuroplasticity thing, I think, Brenda. I mean, I'm aware of this window, and it only goes for 2 or 3 years, because you get kids living in places in Europe, for example, who'll grow up speaking 5 or 6 languages, right? And as an adult, it's very, very, very difficult to learn that many languages. People who live on the border of Austria and 4 other countries, and they'll grow up speaking 4 or 5 languages without a problem. But once that window closes, it's a hard slog. And I've studied a foreign language at uni. It's a very hard slog to learn a foreign language once you're an adult.
I just shared the show on Discord. Everyone, I forgot to do it today. Maybe we'll get a few more people trafficking. Brandon Toy say he will maybe come in, but you gotta chill out.
I know. Look, he's good. He actually. I mean, I'm not being patronising. He's quite intelligent.
Yeah, and he's been in here before, and we were reasonably okay with him. Jose will wrap his rings around you, Brandon, and protect you.
Yeah, and you know what I'm a little afraid of? Not afraid, but excited for, is somebody join this boss package membership, and he just been lurking in the show every day. They say, I don't want Adric in the show today, boot him. So I will honor that package. I will honor that tier of the package, and I will remove him, no questions asked. I say, you are out. So that's the boss, meaning you're in the chat. If you got the membership with the boss, you are able to remove people from the call that you don't like.
Very tempting.
Once a day.
One person once a day.
I will challenge
corruption.
I will challenge flat earthers to become a boss member and kick me out. Kick me out.
Jose, you should call that perk the Carlos perk.
Right.
Jose, my wife would probably appreciate that, because I wouldn't be coming to bed at 5:30 in the morning all the time.
Oh shit, she'd be coming in like, no, he's out once a day. Damn, I love it.
Kick him out. Yeah. What's the time now? It's 2:10.
You get an upgrade to La La Land. You get sent to La La Land.
Do you mean 2:10 in the morning?
2:10 in the morning.
Yes, I just
RT96. Hey, RT asked a really good question. Can I boot myself? Well, you know what? That is also an option. So I will just keep streaming, and I will stay out of it. I will stay out of it whatsoever. At the end, I just hit stop stream when it's time. Boom. 3 hours solid.
All right,
I'm on it. I threw myself up in there. Yeah, I say yes. Let's welcome a few more people join, and I haven't heard them. So, welcome, Channel Q. How are you?
Hi, Jose.
Hey, who's
Hey, George.
Hey, Jose, if I become Boss Prime, does that mean I can do a hostile takeover and kick you out and take over your channel?
Well, you can have the channel for the day. Yeah, you can. Yeah, remove it. It's tempting. Tempting.
Jose says yes for the money.
It's just to have a little fun. You remove one person per day. You're able to remove one person per day.
And what's the cost to do that?
That's I think the package is the expensive one is $99 a month.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm safe. I'm safe because flat earthers don't have any money. Flat earthers don't have money.
Nathan Thompson does got that money. That
that's the big money package.
Mind you, I'm not spending that on fuel at the moment, so can't bloody go anywhere.
Or movies or restaurants or
Yeah.
Or Jose.
Yeah, I'm gonna set up on the Discord. I'm gonna set up a room to. We're gonna do once a week, either Saturdays or Sundays, to hang out with the all access members and just watch a movie or and chat and just rip, just take all the dirty clothes off each other, just make it a hot mess over there to have fun privately.
But that's what we do here.
Yeah, and I do have probably hundreds of hours of content that I haven't uploaded, that I haven't put available to public. And those on the Flip Flop channel, most of them uploaded, and still a bunch on my hard drive. And I'm going to upload those and make it all listed for the all access people to share the links with them so they can watch them at their own time. And they can clip and use them in their channel. They can mirror it. So they were going to have first time access for it. Nobody will see it unless you got the all access membership,
That's fair.
Shannon Q back. Shannon Q, I haven't heard you. What's up, girl?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Everything's good?
I was here when Carlos pretended to be me.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't say anything. I was watching the weather.
Cool.
What are you, old lady?
From the right.
What you got problem with old ladies? What you got against old ladies, Carlos? Kind of bigot
old ladies watch weather? What?
Kind of bigot are you, Carlos? You don't like old ladies? Who doesn't like old ladies?
I told you I like you, Q. I love old ladies.
Q isn't old. Trust me.
Jesus Christ.
It's a joke. My goodness, you guys have never heard a joke about old people watching the Weather Channel?
I'm watching the weather because the weather, there's tornadoes coming to Texas, and there's flooding in San Diego.
Oh. You could do some of our weather then.
I thought the senior demographic watched Fox News.
There's bad weather coming to Alabama as well.
What is the tornadoes?
Yep, tornadoes too.
Yeah, that mostly the weather reports I see say they're going to be in Texas.
Well, you don't live over here, so you don't hear about our reports, so that's that.
I could just Google the weather for Alabama right now.
Then do that and quit questioning me.
Hey, Carlos, is that true? Do you love all ladies? Do you love all ladies, Carlos?
Yeah, all of them except for Q.
Oh, shout out to
I'm
Q.
just kidding.
Yeah,
He just said like 10 seconds ago he liked me. I think Carlos has got bipolar condition or something.
Just keep digging that.
Yeah.
Just keep digging that hole deeper, Carlos.
Yep.
Yeah, we're trying to just give some entertainment for the people. Dang.
You know what I have heard around? I heard P.J.'s an old lady, Carlos. You know what
He's a very ugly old lady then.
Shout out to Pete Shea's dirty scrub brush mustache.
No. It's been said twice. And if you say it one more time, he'll show up.
Hey,
Somebody
boom!
shouted out his dirty scrub brush mustache.
Yeah.
I doubt that.
We got a new member over here, Ricky Baldwin. Ricky Baldwin, are you one of the Baldwin 17 brothers? Shout out to Ricky Baldwin. Welcome to the Access Unlisted videos. You're gonna be enjoying those later on today. I'm gonna share the links with you guys. Thank you, Ricky Baldwin. I appreciate that, man.
So long as he's better looking than Stephen Baldwin.
Oh yeah.
You'd want to be. Poor bugger, he drew the short straw, didn't he?
Yeah. Certainly did.
Oh, we got to talk about something.
I know.
Channel Q, any new flatter content that you've seen around? Like lately, I found a guy. He do observations. He said like, look, because of the black swan or this, that, and the globe is dead. Look, you shouldn't see this horizon. I'm about to share the link, and I just had a laugh on myself. I said like, what the hell are you talking about? This is like globe proof. Just because I see no mirage and I see a hard horizon, like the boat sitting on a hard horizon. I'll share it in a moment. It's kind of just comical because I said, do you even know what you're saying? Makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I see crazy flat Earth content all the time because I tend to put flat Earth in the search bar and then also search But I did see an experiment the other day that somebody had done where they were standing on an overlook of the ocean, and then they had a bottle of like red liquid, and they were showing how the red liquid's level line was level with the horizon. And it didn't really prove anything, but they were really excited about it. I think I shared it into Sean G's, but I'm not sure where that is. But that I thought people might want to do a debunk on that because he did make a lot of claims.
Interesting.
Blue, I enjoyed your debunk of Ranty's attempted debunk of conspiracy cats. You did a
Well,
video.
he only got one thing wrong. He didn't understand that rum lines and circle routes are not the same.
Hey guys, we got Ricky Baldwin because I'm YouTubing him, so I can share the link. Brandon Toy, welcome, brother. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
All is good. Well, guys, Brandon Toy is here, and you guys know you disagree with him, so let's make it a fun, entertaining discussion. Let's not make it an insult or shouting and 3-4 questions at a time. Let's have fun. Just like we're doing, exchange ideas and see if we can progress a little bit today. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. Hey, if you don't mind if I ask you guys a question, I've been looking for a very specific piece of evidence, a proof. I've been researching EQ mounts and the relationship to the shape of the Earth for quite some time. And I'm putting together some evidence in a video in relation to that. And I'm looking for, well, let me back up one step. The assumption made, or the assertion made, is that an EQ mount can track a celestial object, let's say a star, from horizon to horizon using only one axis of rotation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm looking for a video that shows that without using auto guiding, with using one axis. Are you guys aware of anything like that?
Yes, I have a video. I have a video.
Manual one.
I have a video that shows how to use an EQ mount and tracking the sun over the course of a day with it by just making one adjustment. A couple years ago, Wolfie 6020 put forth a challenge for everyone to, it was a contest to make the best EQ mount video. And so if you went to Wolfie's channel, he'll show you the winner. The winner did a really nice job. I also did a fairly nice job, but not good enough.
I have seen those videos, George. I'm not sure I've seen your specific video, but I did watch the winner, and I've seen Wolfie 6020's videos regarding that. I'm not sure the sun will work because of its size and the what is it called? The focal length. But I'd have to take a look. And that was using no auto guiding, George?
No, it was all manual.
Brandon, here's the thing. The reason why you keep running into the auto guidance is because it's the most common one. You can use an EQ mount to be able to follow the path of stars and other celestial objects. But you can use it manual, but then you actually have to input the movement. So to get a more accurate image, or not accurate image, a more stable image, yeah, we use motorized things that are assisted, but it's only one axis that's being used. And I think if correct me if I'm wrong, your problem with the auto guidance is that you have no way of telling that if it's just one axis or not, and not a computer telling it what to do, making you think it's one axis. Is that correct?
Well, auto guiding does make adjustments along two axes because it'll shift the lens left, right, up, or down.
Right.
So that's not using one axis. Yes, that is my issue with it. And
I'll grab you the link to my video and post it in the chat. And the EQ mount on my telescope is manual, and there's just one knob that you turn once you get it aligned and set up. Then it just makes a telescope traverse an arc across the sky that follows the ecliptic with just one turn of the knob once you get it set up.
I'll take a look at your video, George. Now, that said, this is just step one because I'm looking for the observation that that people are using as evidence of this. The whole thing is really in affirming the consequent formological fallacy in itself.
What, you're prepared to say that before you know anything about how they work?
No, I do know how they work. I just told you I've been researching them for months.
How is it in affirming the consequent?
Well, here's the argument as I understand it. If the Earth is a globe, an EQ mount will track an object across the sky from horizon to horizon using only one axis of rotation. It does that, therefore the Earth is a globe. That's not the only conclusion you can draw from the results of using an EQ mount, correct?
Brandon, Brandon, the problem with doing it that way, and this is a Nathan Oakley exercise all the time. You could just as accurately say, if an EQ mount will follow, you know, a celestial body across the sky from horizon to horizon, then the Earth is a globe, right? You just transpose your P and your Q arguments, and then it's not an affirming the consequent, which is a fallacy. It's an affirming the antecedent or remote opponents, which is a valid argument. Okay.
So restate the argument for me in the way that you'd say it.
Your argument was, if the Earth is a globe, then EQ mounts work in X fashion, right? EQ mounts work in X fashion, therefore the Earth is a globe. Now you're right, that's an affirming the consequent fallacy, right? But you could equally say, if you transpose the propositions, you could equally say, if an EQ mount works in X fashion, then the Earth is a globe. An EQ mount works in X fashion, therefore the Earth is a globe. Now that's not a fallacy. That's
but that also requires that you rule out any other cause for an EQ mount to work like that.
Let's just stick with the logic. All I'm saying is, you know, you can apply, you can turn any valid argument into a modus, into an affirming the consequent simply by transposing the proposition one. Okay.
Yeah, but that's not.
It's cheating.
There's a piece of your argument missing, which is, if EQ mounts work in this certain way, the Earth can only be a globe. It's that only be a globe part that you haven't substantiated in your argument, right? If you state it that way.
You have to understand.
It's not flat. The Earth is not flat.
You have to understand, right, that this obsession with logical fallacies, none of it matters if your proposition one, right, if P then Q, right, if your proposition one isn't a factual statement, then it doesn't matter. Things can be logically perfectly sound, but utterly bullshit, right?
Well, that's why I'm looking for the first statement to be substantiated.
Right. Okay, I could say, for example, if I take LSD, I can fly like Superman. I just took LSD, therefore I can now fly like Superman. Now that's 100% logically sound, right? Modus ponens, but it's bullshit because line one's not correct.
Well, yeah, you've got bad rhetoric.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to be careful. I mean, an example commonly used is, you know, to try and make it obvious, if you cut a person's head off, they will die. Right? I cut the person's head off, therefore they're dead. Right? But the problem is, look at line one. If you cut a person's head off, they will die. That's not a factual statement.
I think that I understand what you're saying, and that's why I'm looking for this video to substantiate that this is you have evidence of this first claim here. And so far, I've just been linked. Now, I'm going to look at George's video, but people keep sending me a video of a EQ mount spinning on Wolfie's porch. Right. Doesn't even show the sky. And I get all kinds of different things. This shouldn't be hard to find. So we'll see what George has.
I have a follow-up question. Oh, go ahead.
Look, this business about not using a motorized system, I understand what you're saying. A motorized system, if you didn't polar roll line it, it could just drive both axes. But if you've ever owned a simple or a cheap telescope, right, and you've pointed it at the moon without polar aligning it, there are two knobs that you have to turn. And trying to track even the moon or Jupiter or something without having done the alignment, you have to turn both knobs, and it's like Etch-a-Sketch, only 1,000 times harder, trying to turn both knobs to keep your target centered. Right. It's a completely counterintuitive exercise trying to turn both knobs. You know, you turn it one way and it goes the wrong way. Once you've polar aligned a manual telescope like that, you still have to move the telescope to track your target, but you only have to turn one knob, right? So if the moon's in the center of, you know, the circle, and it moves up towards the 2 o'clock position, you turn one knob and it moves, you know, until it moves exactly back into the center, and it moves again, and you turn the one knob in the same direction and it moves exactly back in the center. And that's because you've polar aligned the EQ mount, and it's a million times easier than this complicated process of trying to keep something centered by manipulating both.
Well, I'm assuming that we're using a polar aligned mount. You have to polar align. I understand that.
Yeah, I know, because but if you've ever tried it without polar aligning, it's really annoying. The point being, of course, because whatever you're tracking is following a curved path across the sky. That's why it's difficult, right?
Sure, which I contend would be the same on a flat plane as well, but that's okay.
Yeah, it would. Everything would have to move in a curved path,
right?
But they would be different curved paths.
Well, the beauty of the EQ mount, of course, is once it's polar aligned, say like in my video, what I did is I get the sun in view on the telescope, and then I get the sun centered by just imaging it on a white plane, you know, for viewing the sun. That's behind the eyepiece. And what I did is every hour I went out and I say at 10 in the morning, got the sun imaged in the center of the eyepiece, and then went away, came back an hour later, and of course the sun is no longer in the eyepiece, but you just adjust the one knob, and the telescope will eventually, when it swings far enough, will bring the sun back into view. There is no fiddling around, like you just said, where you try to find the sun with, say, two knobs. You're going to be fiddling forever, but once you get the polar aligned, you just have the one knob, and the telescope swings in an arc. So if you had the star or you know, the sun, moon, or whatever in view at one point in time, you come back and sometime later and you just adjust the one knob and they'll come back into view.
Really quick, I just want to encourage everybody watching the stream to go ahead and hit the thumbs up. We got 57 thumbs up, 132 people watching. It's really good, 133. So please support by clicking the like or dislike. That's good. You see it's highlighted in blue and one is gray. So if we see this, if you go to the like and dislike and they're both gray, that's no good. That means you're not doing the interaction. So please click either one or the other one. Click it and support this platform by doing so. It's free. It's easy. Just click it. And if you want to join, please do so. Check it out. All kinds of fun. I'll give more details in a little more concise video later. Thank you. You see, we're going up. Good stuff.
So George, I just looked at your video, and it doesn't even show the view through the telescope, and it doesn't go from horizon to horizon.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, George. I just watched the whole thing.
You could not have watched.
Let's watch it.
Over an hour long.
This an hour and 39 minutes.
Yeah, you said.
So at what point in this video does it track the sun from horizon to horizon?
Well,
it looks like it's in your backyard. It doesn't look like you can even track that far in the sky. You got trees
Why
on
don't you
one
watch
side,
it?
trees on the other side.
I went from about 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon in the summertime. It wasn't exactly horizon to horizon because of the trees and because of the house. But if you go at, let's see.
Well, the zenith is the zenith area. You know, either side of the zenith, a few hours is the easiest part to capture. Right.
Well, I said I went over 7 hours, like 9 in the morning till about 4 in the afternoon.
Why don't you give us all the details and specs of how you want the video to be, so you don't whine about any little detail that you don't have.
Okay, start at about 1 hour and 3 minutes. That's where I started in the morning, and it continues on through the rest of the video to the end.
Yeah, I see a lot of video of the telescope itself. I don't see the view through the telescope.
Brandon,
Maybe about a couple.
What do you want to see?
Yeah, I'll describe it again. So what I'm looking for is a view through the telescope of a EQ mounted telescope. Well, let me finish. An EQ mounted telescope tracking a star from horizon to horizon, not using auto guiding and using only one axis of rotation.
Go to 1 hour.
Why can't it use auto guiding again?
Go to 1 hour.
Because auto guiding adjusts the telescope to track an object in the sky in both left, right, up, and down.
Look at, go to 1 hour, or 1 hour, 8, oh Jesus.
Do you want me to share, Jose? I've got it open.
Go to
let me play this. It's just a few more seconds. This is a short.
Go to 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 18 seconds, and I'll show it. You'll see a view of the sun through the telescope, and I did that every hour. So you just have to, rather than scan through the video, you have to know what you're looking for if you're going to do that. But I've done that for every hour, so you're going to see it probably 8 times where I've imaged the sun against a plate behind the eyepiece. So 1 hour, 8 minutes, 18 seconds, and you can see where I've imaged the sun.
Yeah, just a few more seconds to finish this one. Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I have a question for Brandon since we're watching this. Why is it we don't see this everywhere?
What?
24-hour sun in the Antarctic.
Oh, no, not the Antarctic. I'm just in particular. This could be that you have a video of at the North Pole as well. But you need to explain to me why we don't see this all the time. If the Earth's flat, this is how our world should look.
Says
no, but
what? Why do you say that, Erebus? Well, you've baked some assumptions in there based on your globe model. Yeah, you did.
I'm not basing it on a globe model.
Then why would we see why would we see the sun rotate around above us? Actually, anywhere.
What was that?
Isn't that what the sun does on a flat Earth?
Your question's malformed.
Rotates above the
No,
disk.
it's not. You claiming it's malformed doesn't make it so. So don't try to use that as an excuse to not answer the question. If the Earth is flat, this is what we should be seeing. Why do we not see this all the time, everywhere?
All right, let's allow Brandon to explain himself. Brandon, explain yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. That's the part of the question that's malformed. You say if the Earth is flat, we should see this all the time. You haven't substantiated that part of the question.
Oh, trust me on this one. I have substantiated it. Just because you weren't there for it, it's not my problem. Now, my question is still there. Why is it we do not see? This is not how the world functions.
You're right. It's not how the world functions. Your question's malformed. I can't answer it because you've baked in some assumptions based on the globe model that
haven't based it on a globe model. But you're saying globe. I haven't said that.
No, I know you haven't said that.
Okay, then. So you can't infer anything from what I've stated. I said, if the Earth is flat, X. So we're going with Earth is flat, therefore, this should be something that should be seen everywhere all the time.
You're building a straw man by making an assumption of what you would see on a flat Earth and then saying, why don't we see this everywhere?
Why don't
and making me defend a straw man. I'm not going to do that, Erebus.
It's not a straw man.
Yes, it is.
You haven't made an argument So I'm
no,
not
you've made you haven't either. You've presented me with a straw man to defend, and I'm not going to
That's
defend it.
still not a straw man. I am not straw manning anything because you have not given an argument.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Erebus, make your point one more time clear. If you want to make it into a claim or a question, you're welcome to do so, and then we allow Brandon to do the same. Either answer the question or make his point, and then we will move on. George, you got a little bit of a feedback, hot micing every once in a while, so it's kind of, you can mute
Erebus
yourself.
did
for a
ask
minute.
him a question. He asked
Yeah.
him how come the sun doesn't look like this on a flat all the time if it's
Yeah.
a flat Earth.
Well, it's pretty clear.
Let's
he doesn't-
let's do it again. Let's allow them both, Erebus and Brandon. One more time. Erebus, make your point, and then Brandon, and then we'll move on. Go ahead, Erebus.
If the Earth is supposed to be flat, then the sun should look exactly like what Jose showed. Why is it that it does not do that in reality?
Again, you have baked a straw man into your question by stating that the Earth should look a certain way if it's flat. And then you've asked me why it doesn't. It's not a
That is
question
not a
that I can
straw
answer,
man.
and I'm not going to defend the straw man that's baked
I'm
into
sorry.
the question.
It's not a straw man. You keep saying this.
certainly
That's
is.
not, a question cannot be a straw man.
Then substantiate your claim that if the Earth was flat, it would look like X.
Why wouldn't it?
I'm not making the claim. You tell me why it would.
Because the sun is hovering above the Earth. At no point would it not. Would you agree that the sun doesn't go underneath the Earth? If so, then
Yeah.
my
So
point-
you're creating a straw man.
No,
and
that's not a
you're
straw man.
having
You
me
haven't.
defend
That's
it.
not what a straw
You're
man
making a
is.
claim about what would happen on a flat Earth, not me.
That's not a straw man.
Have I made any claims
agree
about how
or
the sun would look above a flat Earth?
Is the sun above the flat Earth? Yes or no?
Yes, obviously the sun is
Does it
above
remain
us.
above the Earth? Yes or no?
Yes, it appears that it remains above us on the flat Earth.
Thank you for substantiating my claim. Now,
but your
if
claim
you
is
be so
different because you
kind
said
as
it would
to
look
answer-
this
you're
way
avoiding
because
the
it's a flat
question.
Earth. No,
You're
I'm not
just
avoiding the
avoiding-
question.
Yes, you are.
No.
The tactic doesn't work with me. You can ask anyone on this panel. You avoiding my question because you can't answer it. Because no matter what you answer, it's not going to work.
Okay, that's an accusation that you can make, and that's fine. I'm not going to defend the straw man you've created for me to defend.
Still not a straw man.
Can we-
End of story.
let me try. Can anybody want to try and rephrase, refine the question and the point? So, Brandon, I mean, how would the world look if the Earth was flat? Maybe. Well, are we supposed to see the sun revolving around us like this? Maybe that's a good way. I would like to hear you maybe trying to answer it somehow. Don't think about like a straw man, please. I really not trying to.
So I think this is the point that he may be getting at, that we would see the sun all the time above us if we lived on a flat plane, because there's nothing for it to go behind or under. There's some assumptions baked into that regarding how far or how distant the sun's light, how powerful it is, how far it can reach us, what the sun is, and that kind of thing. So I don't think we've substantiated, one, what the sun is, and I know the evidence that you guys will give for what the sun is and how you think you know that, and how powerful the sun is, and the nature of the sun's light as far as how long it'll travel. In your model, it'll travel 93 million miles and further and illuminate the Earth. But if it is small and local, its light won't be that powerful.
Does light just get tired after a certain distance?
Must do.
Does it just get tired and then the photons just go poop out and fall to the ground? Is that what happens?
Hold on. I have to say something. Brandon, you just baked in some assumptions in your hiding from my question.
Your interpretation of the of the.
Oh, I'm not hiding from your question. I didn't want to answer your question because you gave me a straw man to defend.
No,
once again,
that's not
anyway, let's hear the assumptions, man. That
he simply assumed. Well, one, he stated that he sun is made out of. He hasn't actually displayed any knowledge that he doesn't know. But that's neither here nor there. The assumption that he makes that no one knows is based on his own opinion. The other one,
you don't know.
Whatever. And the other one is he's making assumptions on how far the light would travel without actually showing any demonstration or evidence that he knows anything what he's talking about. He's basically assuming that the light somehow, like Brenda said, gets lazy after a certain point.
Not lazy. I'm basing that on my observations.
The assumption that it's small and that it's local. Both of those right there are actual assumptions.
My point is
that off of.
My point
So
is
your
that
entire
we haven't substantiated what the sun is. I'm not claiming to know what the sun is or exactly how it works.
A
When you
small
say
and local
we,
sun
you
is
mean
easily falsifiable.
So anyway, back to George's video. George, that video is not the evidence that I asked for. If anybody does have the evidence that I asked for, I would appreciate linking it to me because I really am looking for it. I'll take a closer look, George, but I looked through that video at the timestamps you gave me, and it doesn't cut the mustard there.
I've got times for you. You are wrong. You're making accusations against me and my video that aren't based on anything.
What's new, George? Here,
Brandon, rather than sit down and demand we present all this stuff.
Yeah, there's
why
two
don't
or
you do
three
it?
people at the same time.
Well, you guys are the one
It's
making
not
the
going good.
claim.
Hey,
you're the one investigating it.
Brandon, I came here to ask you for the evidence.
Time out, everyone. Time out. Time out. Brandon, you came in here making a claim about EQ mounts being able to work just fine on a flat Earth. That's how this began.
Yeah.
No, that is not how this began. I guess you didn't hear the beginning, Channel Q.
Well, I mean, with George showing you his EQ mount evidence, that's.
Did you look
that
at
was
his
the
evidence,
claim.
Channel Q?
Will you please let me?
Yeah, I was sitting in here watching.
Will you
hey,
please?
George has been trying to speak for
That's
like
not what
1
we were
minute.
watching.
Hey, let George finish.
Yeah, I want to address Brandon. Is if you go to the pinned comment in that video, I have a timestamp index into what's being discussed in the video, and at the end of that list shows you that the timestamp to go to each hour of observation. They started at 9 a.m. and ended at 4:48 p.m. And for example, if you go to time 1 hour, 19 minutes, 24 seconds, you'll see me imaging the sun. Go to 1 hour, 22 minutes, 8 seconds, I'm imaging the sun again an hour later. Go to 1 hour, 13 minutes, 42 seconds, that's the 10 a.m. observation. They're all there. All you have to do is go and look.
I'll take a closer look, George.
Well, you better, rather than start making these baseless accusations.
You know, Brandon, if you want this done a particular way, why don't you just get a telescope and do it? I mean, they're cheap. I got one the other day for $75. It's got a perfectly functional manual EQ mount on it. Why don't you just go ahead and do it yourself? So it's exactly the way you want, and then you can draw your conclusions and make your video.
Well, I might end up doing that, Bob. It's not a
Why
bad
don't
idea
you?
since I can't seem to get the evidence from anybody that regarding the claims that they're making.
Well, you want it presented in a certain way. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I hear you, Bob. Who said I wasn't going to do that?
Then why are you going through and accusing George of not having the right thing when he clearly does? You know, I mean, just do it exactly the way you want it. And that way you can't say, well, I want to change the conditions after we're done.
Well, I asked for a specific thing. George said, here's your specific thing. I look at the specific thing. It's not what I asked for. That's all I stated. It's not George's fault. It's not his problem.
I listened to you in live time. It's an hour and 30-minute video, and you made your conclusion within 10 minutes. I listened to you do it live. I've been on watching this thing for quite some time now.
I'm
so
watching
you
it
did
right
not.
now. I'm
You're
watching
not
him
done with it.
I'm
then.
watching him adjust the telescope right now.
And you wanted
watching
to
it.
see, you wanted to see the sun image through the eyepiece, and I'm showing you that. Just go to, for example, 1 hour, 19 minutes, 24 seconds. You can see the image of the sun through the eyepiece.
Okay, so that is the only video that you guys have that would substantiate that claim. Nobody else has one to put forward. I'll take a closer
What
look
does
at
that
it. So I
matter?
appreciate
What
the
does
link.
that matter?
There's dozens of them.
There's loads
What,
of them.
what
Did you do
doesn't
a
matter? I'm
YouTube
just asking
search?
if anybody has one.
Did you
Well,
do a
they-
YouTube
No, you
search
didn't.
and
You
look
didn't
for
say,
videos?
do you have any? You said, so you guys don't have any. This is the only one you have.
You're right.
That's
I
not a
stated
question.
it as a negative. Do you
Yeah,
guys have
okay.
any?
Loads of them out there. You've only got to look.
George has one. Wolfie's got one for 24 hours tracking the sun, and you can easily see where the sun is by looking at the shadows. So you don't have to look through the eyepiece for 24 straight hours. If you want to do that, make a video for that. You do it yourself.
Yeah, you're
Brandon.
repeating yourself. Got it.
No, okay,
Before you go, I'm gonna share the screen. You guys can continue talking. This is from Wolfie 6020 video.
Yeah, there it is right there.
I'm just gonna play it in the background while you guys speak.
Brandon, here's an issue for you. I presume you're in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yes, I am.
All right. So when you're polar aligning a telescope in the Northern Hemisphere, what do you align it to?
Polaris.
All right. I'm in the Southern Hemisphere. Where do you think I polar align my telescope?
What is that star called that's supposedly close to the center? Reticulus. I can't remember the name of it.
The difficulty you've got is on the flat Earth, there is no center in the south.
Or Polaris Australis.
No, it's Sigma Octantis.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, now the difficult, I mean, in the Southern Hemisphere, you can't polar align your telescope to Polaris because you can't see it, right? You polar align to Sigma Octantis, and it's more difficult because Sigma Octantis is hard to see. So on a flat Earth, how do I polar align my telescope?
Yeah, good question.
Right, because I mean, you understand where I'm going. On the flat Earth, there is no southern celestial pole, and of course, geometrically, there can't be.
Yeah.
But I've polar.
So I guess right now I'm investigating in the Northern Hemisphere because we're using Polaris.
Yeah, I know,
polar align.
but you understand, if to be a valid explanation, it's got to work in both hemispheres. Unless, and I'm not suggesting unless you're one of these flat earthers that think the Southern Hemisphere doesn't exist, or Australia doesn't exist. I'm telling you it does because I'm here now. But it's got to work in both hemispheres.
I don't see why you wouldn't be able to track something on a flat plane in the Southern Hemisphere across the sky.
Yeah, but
everything moves over you in a circular motion. So
the process of polar alignment is aligning your telescope to a point in the sky that doesn't move. Now, that works in the Northern Hemisphere on a flat Earth because you've got Polaris. In the Southern Hemisphere on a flat Earth, there is no celestial point that doesn't move.
Hey, guys, really quick. The video that I was playing in the background, I cannot share with a better smooth quality, so I shared the link in the chat. Thank you, WS. He's the one that shared the link, so check it out on yourself and leave him some feedback. And thank you, Wolfie. Shout out to him for creating good content.
I do have something to say about that video of that EQ mount spinning on the porch. That doesn't prove anything. You can't even see through the scope. I don't know why that's put forward as proof. But anyway, now back to your, who was that speaking?
Edric.
Hey, you just made a claim you can't see through the scope. I'm showing you the sun image.
Not yours, George.
Okay.
Not yours, George.
It's not on the porch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you drive anything from
There's
the
like
shadow,
way too
Brandon?
many things going on at once. You guys realize that, right?
Right.
Brandon, can you
respond
derive
to Adric.
anything from the shadows on the porch of the telescope?
So, Adric, if I'm pointing a telescope at Sigma Octantis in the south, where is the opposite end of the telescope pointing?
Well, that would depend how far south in the sun.
If you're looking at Sigma Octantis, And I went on the other side of the telescope and looked through it, and I could see through the Earth. What would it be pointing at?
It depends where you are.
Yeah, but you
Polaris.
can't. No. But you don't align to Polaris in the southern hemisphere.
You don't align to Polaris, but in your model, it would still be aligned with Polaris if you looked through it. You're doing the same alignment. It's just that you're not doing it to Polaris, right?
Yeah, but how do you mechanically align your telescope? I mean, in the northern hemisphere, you align it to the North Celestial Pole, which doesn't move. On the
Right.
flat Earth, there is no stationary celestial point in the southern hemisphere. What do you align it to? I mean, I know you're saying I could align it to Polaris by pointing the telescope through the ground, but I can't see Polaris.
No,
It's
but
through
you're
the ground.
you're just pointing it in the exact opposite direction of Polaris. You can't see Polaris, but you're still aligning to Polaris, Adric.
He actually has a point, doesn't he?
How can I align it to Polaris and point it in the opposite direction when I can't see where Polaris is because it's below the ground?
Think about it on the
Theoretically, wouldn't it be aligned with Polaris if you're aligned with Cygni Octantis?
Yeah, no, that's right, but I can't. But
okay,
you know,
that's
but
my
if
point.
but if Sigma Octantis is not a stationary point in the sky, is not a celestial pole, then how do I? Then yeah, I understand what you're saying. I could align it with Polaris and then just flip it around or do it the other way, but I don't know where Polaris is. I can't see it.
You do know where Polaris is. It's the opposite of the point that you're pointing it to at Sigma Octantis.
Yeah, but the point I'm pointing it to, Sigma Octantis on the flat Earth, is not a stationary point.
That's why you need a motor so you can move to follow Sigma Octantis.
No.
Flows around the Earth.
You turn the motor on. You turn the motor on after you've aligned it
to keep it stationary, right in space. That's what you're going to say. But in actuality, it moves to follow Sigma Octantis.
No, it doesn't. It moves to follow whatever you're pointing it at. Listen, the motor is to keep your target in center after you've aligned it. You have to align it first. You have to align it first, right? And in order to align it, you need to point it at something. Now, where you live, you pointed at Polaris. I can't point it at Polaris because I can't see it. I can't point it at Sigma Octantis on a flat Earth, but Sigma Octantis is constantly moving on a flat Earth.
I think, yeah,
it's
okay.
It's to me, Sigma Octantis, if the Earth was flat, would be doing laps around, at the same height above the horizon. You understand what I'm saying? You can't align it to Sigma Octantis because on a flat Earth, it's moving. The whole point of aligning a telescope is you're aligning it to a stationary point in the celestial hemisphere.
If my telescope is pointing at Sigma Octantis, it is aligned with Polaris. It doesn't matter where it is.
Only
you ever done that?
Round Earth.
Only on a round Earth because Sigma Octantis is moving on a flat. I don't know why you're having difficulty with this. Sigma Octantis, the alignment, one end's pointing at Polaris and the other one end's pointing at Sigma Octantis. Yeah. That only works if both of them are stationary celestial poles.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay, on a flat Earth, Polaris is stationary and Sigma Octantis is constantly moving. How can you have a polar alignment between one star that's stationary and the other end which is constantly moving? Right, your alignment would have your telescope moving in a cone shape. I mean, listen, you need to look at this because the whole concept of polar alignment requires a stationary spot, right? And on a flat Earth, Sigma Octantis is not stationary, so you can't align to it. It's as simple as that. And if you don't understand that, you're not far enough progressed in your research. Anyone else? No, it's the same. Anyone else thinks I'm saying something incorrect? Jump in.
No, I want to ask a Southern Hemisphere star observation question. Because I quite like, don't know much about astronomy, but I do like it. So very, very quickly. So if we've got stars that we normally would observe along the horizon, so they're going to be low elevation to us, and we're standing, say, in Sydney, Australia. Let's pick that as somewhere easy. Now, for that star to then move to be then visible to, say, someone in, say, South Africa, it would have to move along that horizon line, wouldn't it? Because otherwise, how is anybody going to see it there? Because if I'm observing here at the beginning of the night and someone else is observing somewhere else at the end of the night, we've still got the same observation points, the stars, and it's not moving along the horizon. I think, to me, that is a very, very, very simple debunk of the flat Earth from an astronomy point of view, because the stars are not moving in the way they would have to move from one observer's point to the next observer's point, say 45 or 90 degrees apart.
On a flat Earth with the stars forming a hemisphere above us, right, which is rotating, stars close to my horizon in the southern hemisphere would always be close to the horizon, and they would form, and they would track. If it's so many degrees above the horizon, it would follow a 360 degree path along the horizon without ever changing its altitude, its elevation above the horizon, right? Whereas
on the
I can go
positive point as
outside
well.
Yeah.
I was going to say on the positive point as well, if the Earth was flat and the stars did move like that, we could create some really fucking cool star clocks. Because we could actually measure the time just based on where that star is on the horizon, and its angle of deviation from north, sorry. So that would work really cool, but that doesn't work as well.
I've just been outside to have a cigarette, and I can see the Southern Cross, right? And because I can see the Southern Cross, I can find the approximate location of Sigma Octantis, right? Now, if I pointed a camera at that point in the sky and left it on for a while, you would see the same as you do around Polaris. You'd see a circular path of stars moving around that point near Sigma Octantis. It's impossible on a flat Earth, right? Because Sigma Octantis. Now, I mean, I'm not that far south of the equator, right? But so Sigma Octantis, is generally low on the horizon. But on a flat Earth with a rotating hemisphere of stars, Sigma Octantis would trace a 360 degree path around the horizon, and it would always be at the same elevation. Right? And it doesn't. It stays still, and the stars around it do circles, and the close ones do small circles, and the ones further
You've
away.
made some claims there again, and
I've just been outside.
You've created a straw man flat Earth model, and you have said that what you observe doesn't match that straw man model. Now, I didn't come here to defend the Southern Stars because I don't have all the explanations for that. Yeah, I don't have enough information to defend the way the Southern Stars work. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
We're not creating your argument. I just want to do this.
What's going on there is that the Earth is a sphere.
One second. We're not creating your argument for you.
I know that's your answer.
So it's not a straw man. Okay, if you disagree with some points and you want to correct us, we're offering an explanation. We're not demanding that you use that as your argument. Therefore, it is not a straw man. Please stop misinvoking that fallacy.
Yeah, I've heard your arguments about how the Southern Stars work before.
Yeah. Well, it's not an argument. I mean, we can show you pictures showing you exactly how they work. I mean, look, Brandon, you've got to understand the only explanations, those of us who've been doing this for a little while, the only explanations we get to the South Celestial Pole problem are either, I don't know what the nature of the stars are, they're celestial, something or others, or personal dome arguments, which are ludicrous. I know you're saying you don't have an explanation, but none of us have ever heard an explanation for the South Celestial Pole. I mean,
we have an explanation.
We do. But on a flat Earth, what I'm saying is, on a flat Earth, not only have you not got one, no one's got one. I mean, you can imagine if it's a flat disk and there's a hemispheric dome with the stars on it that's rotating, then it's geometrically exceedingly difficult to have two non-rotating points in the sky. I mean, you can visualize how difficult that is. That's why the only attempted explanations are these convoluted exercises in saying, there's a personal dome and everyone sees a different set of stars to everyone else.
I actually created a working flat Earth map once. And unfortunately, based on the observations that we actually have on the Earth, the flat Earth gets folded into a globe.
Yeah, I can't explain the Southern Star, so I'm not going to tell you anything different than what you've heard before regarding that. And I haven't researched it in depth either.
Brandon, can I just say this? Lots of respect to you, because you are going out and looking for answers. I mean, you know, that's why I was complimentary of you before you came in, because you are legitimately looking for answers, right? You're not just hand wave dismissing stuff, you know, or just using this. I mean, the other circular argument, the other explanation we get is the world's worst circular argument. The Earth is flat, it works, therefore that's how it works. You know what I mean? It must work because the Earth is flat. I mean, so
we are 24 hours sun. That is proof for flat Earth.
You know, by all means, keep researching it, and I'll be interested to see what you come up with.
I think another interesting question to sort of put out that's sort of connected with that, which is, you know, we've got loads of tools that we can use that will predict where stars are going to be, you know, what observations we should see at which particular times of year, what stars are going to be rising and setting, you know, according to the model that we have. Now, we predict that with very high accuracy. I don't think anyone would kind of disagree with that. Feel free if you do. But the question is if we can do it with that level of accuracy, how can we do it with that level of accuracy without some sort of understanding of the mechanics that sit behind it?
Don't the stars move in the Saros cycle? They repeat over and over again.
The Saros cycle is to do with lunar eclipses, and it's the fact that if you can observe lunar eclipses in a single location, you can then use that to predict other lunar eclipses at that location, or eventually a solar eclipse.
Yeah, but my point is everything repeats in cycles. So we've observed these stars for
Brandon, you're still talking.
Years. Yeah.
All right. The Saros cycle is based on a very in-depth understanding of the orbit of the moon. It is a combination of 3 different lunar months. It's a combination of apogee and of the perigee to perigee. It's a combination of the node to node, and it's a combination of the phase to phase. And if you don't understand all 3 of those intimately, you can't use the Saros cycle because there are 40 of them going on at any given time. It's too complex to try and understand all 40 of them in context with each other and be able to predict that the Saros cycle is exactly 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours long within 7 hours.
So my point is that you're not predicting anything with your model. We've got reams and reams of historical data for how the sky moves. They've been predicting celestial events for thousands of years, long before you had your completed heliocentric model. So how did they do it before all of this? It
does not predict solar eclipses.
Brandon,
it does not predict the location of solar eclipses. It says a similar solar eclipse, which moves by 120 degrees to the west and 300 kilometers to the north every 18.6 years. And that's just one of 40 that are going on at once.
Yeah, the Saros cycle, Brandon, only gives you a general idea of where the day that the eclipse will be and possibly what hemisphere you're in. It will not give you the path to within miles of where the eclipse shadow is going to traverse across the Earth. Only celestial mechanics and knowing the heliocentric model will give you that. The Saros cycle gets you the day that an eclipse will occur, but it doesn't tell you where on the Earth it will be.
Exactly. Yeah, let me jump in for 10 seconds, gentlemen, please. I want to do a big thank you to a new member, Brainery. Thank you very much for becoming a newest member of the show. Today, a lot of support on the new members. Let me give a quick shout out. I got them in the list right here. It's going to take me 10 seconds. So today we just got the channel members activated, and latest member was Brainery. Thank you very much. Ricky Baldwin, Thirsby, Mr. Gadget, GPS, Farmer's Boy, Rusty P, RT96, Kid and Stringer News. Thank you very much. I've been pasting some links to your channels in the chat. I will do it at the end. Also, links upload. I'm gonna share the link with you with on one of the unlisted videos. I'm gonna share links with one at a day on listed videos, so you can get access to that one first. And Keith, all access, brother. You can holler at me whenever you want, and just give me ideas on the topics on the shows and all that good stuff. You know where to find me, so please feel free to become a member and be more engaged into the show, how it runs, the participants. So looking forward to hang out with all of you offline later. Carry on, guys.
The other thing about the Saros cycle was it was developed in 1691 by Sir Edmund Halley, and that was only after the mechanics of the orbit of the moon were understood.
Yeah, I don't think you need the heliocentric model in order to predict the motions of the stars, since it's been done long before there was a heliocentric model. But
Actually, it was not.
fine.
The Saros cycle was done in 1691, and you do need to. It requires the understanding of the lunar orbit.
Yeah, what they used to track, and so let's take the Sumerians for instance. They were particularly interested in the planets they could see, which they did do observations for, and they were interested, like most ancient cultures, in the equinoxes. The equinoctial cycle was actually what most people were measuring and recording, and we see that referenced in loads of tomb graves. We see that referenced in loads of archaeological site alignments. So that's not the same as saying, aha, we know that there's going to be an eclipse here on this day. That's saying that we can recognize by doing day-to-day monitoring the fact that we know when the equinox is beginning, because we know where it's going to appear on the horizon, the sunrise.
Yeah, I just muted George.
Yeah,
sorry
thank you.
about that. It's been, a little buzz. It's kind of a little annoying. So when you get to speak, George, unmute yourself and then mute when you're done. Sorry about that.
The other thing about these ancient eclipse cycles is they missed a lot of them. I mean, they missed a tremendous number of them. And, we can accurately, precisely say that there's going to be an eclipse on this spot in the ocean at this time, at this location. We can take a ship there, and there it is. The eclipse occurs exactly as we predicted. And you can't do that unless you understand the orbital mechanics.
But importantly, it can predict, if you're standing in the path of totality, it can predict when totality arrives almost to the second. And the Saros cycles simply cannot do that. No one has ever claimed it does.
No.
Interesting. So you're saying that you use a heliocentric model in order to predict the celestial cycles. Is that the claim that you're making?
Uses the lunar cycles to predict the Saros cycle. And then we used orbital mechanics to exactly predict the path of totality on a solar eclipse anywhere in the world. Years in advance, to the second.
And Brandon, the other issue is this. One of the reasons we moved away from geocentric to heliocentric is because, as you'd be aware, planets don't follow the same path as the stars. They move backwards and they go forwards, and then they go forwards and go backwards and they go forwards again. I mean, it was the Greeks noticed that, hence the name, planets is from the Greek, wanderers, right? Because they move in different paths to the stars, and sometimes they reverse their path and go backwards for a while, and then they turn around and go forwards again. And it was really, really clever analysis of why they do that led us to the heliocentric model in the first place.
It was the retrograde motion and the fact that, say, Venus, for example, has phases, but Mars does not. And that tells you that Venus is closer to the sun, which is in the center of the solar system, and Mars is farther away, and all the planets are revolving around the sun. Between those two, that tells you that the sun is the center of the solar system.
So any flat Earth model that has a dome, a firmament, and the heavenly bodies are simply lights in the firmament falls over because of the different path and retrograde motion of planets. And then you have to start going into they're celestial lights, or we don't know what they are, or they're something spiritual. Which is
no,
I'm
with the
not saying-
Ptolemaic model, where the Earth is in the center of the solar system, you can make that work, but you have to put everything on a dome, and then you have to put the lights on the dome within their own little circles and orbits. And the complexity of this, to try and get everything to work out right, you have so many different things that have to go on at the same time. Whereas if everything revolves around the sun or orbits the sun, in the heliocentric model, everything makes sense and you can predict with it. You can't do that with the Ptolemaic model. You have to modify the Ptolemaic model to account for predictions or for observations that you see.
So I think, regardless of whether you agree or disagree, you can't argue the fact that there is a fully rounded explanation that seems to deliver parsimony. Cool. Okay, fine. Let's put that on the might be right sort of side of the table for the moment, and let's ignore it. So what I would want, for me to give up something that I hold to, that I believe has got, it's got efficacy, it's got parsimony, it's got explanatory power, etc., is I want something that's going to deliver something better than that. So the question I always like to ask flat earthers is, what better explanation do you currently have, which is a rational reason to reject the one that is there?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in better explanations. And I do agree that for the most part, your models work. I mean, there is obvious issues like the three-body problem and other things like that. But for the most part, you guys can make predictions with the models. I'm interested in getting to the bottom of what actual reality is. And that's the part where the heliocentric model falls short, in my opinion, is when you start looking into the proofs that are given, they start to fall apart and you can't find anything concrete to hang your hat on. Like we were told for many years that boats go over an edge.
What you
said.
said.
I'm not so much interested in the, there's probably, as I said, let's put that on the other side of the table. What I'm trying to find out is, what explanations do you have that seem to, to deliver a more accurate description of reality? Because if it's reality that you're interested in, and you agree that we have some pretty accurate descriptions of reality in our models, what I'm trying to understand is, where is the accuracy that you're driving from, and why do you have these doubts, apart from the fact I don't like it, therefore the Earth is flat, which is really all I'm kind of hearing at the moment, Brandon.
Yeah. So let me answer your question. I'm not interested in models. I understand that you have a model and that you can make predictions about it. I'm not looking for a model that I can predict things from. If I was just looking for that, I'd be fine using most of what has been developed in the heliocentric model for predictions, like Professor Phil Bell will say all the time. He uses these models and the calculations to get things through space. It works, so he doesn't care what reality is. I do care what reality is. I want to know the true nature of the world.
Well, how are you going to find the true nature of the world without having a model of that nature? I mean, what's the difference between having a model of nature versus what you're calling the true nature of reality? How do you use the true nature of reality unless it's a model that you can use it to understand what that is?
You use it for what, Bob?
Well, for example, the model of the flat Earth is that the Earth is a flat plane. Is that not a model? I mean,
we don't have a model per se, Bob.
The authentic 4 hours.
Okay, so my question is, if your model is the Earth is somehow a flat plane, okay, that's a model. The Earth is a flat plane. You have to fill out more details than that. But you keep saying, well, I want to talk about reality. Well, your reality is that the Earth is a flat plane. That's a model. You understand that, right?
I understand that what you're defining as a model is
well, then let's get rid of this nonsense about what
a physical description, a description used.
No, you tell me what it is.
To describe the nature of the world, right?
Okay, You tell me what it is, because it's not
But
what I'm
why do you-
defining. You tell
Why do you
me
want to
what
hold
it
on to
is.
this word model, Bob?
Okay, you call it something and tell me what it is.
When I say I'm not interested in models, the map is not the territory, right? I can create something that
The map
represents
representation
something in
of
reality.
the territory.
That is a representation, but it may not be
Okay, then define to me
reflective of
what
the
you mean
actual
by
reality of the territory.
What's
What
the
I mean by
difference between
reality is, does your model, your heliocentric all Earth model, trade
Not interested in
curvature
heliocentric.
for
Tell me what
perspective?
your model is. All right. Tell
I don't
me what
have
your
a, how many
reality.
times I don't have a model.
What do you define as reality? How do you measure reality? How do you know you see reality? Okay. What is your term reality mean?
Things that can be verified through scientific means, meaning I can touch them, taste them, feel them, and they'll substantiate that that's the way something really is.
Does seeing qualify in that?
Does what?
You said touch, taste. Those are tactile sensations, but you're not saying. Does sight qualify as one of those?
Yes, I'm looking for the concrete nature of the world to be substantiated through actual scientific evidence.
Now, beyond your globe denialism, what actual evidence do you have that the Earth is as you say it is?
Ja, Black Swan.
Globe denialism?
We have 24 hours on, and North Africa.
Well, your audio is really bad.
John, if you have 24 hours on, that is the reality.
That's a potato.
Brandon,
Yeah, really bad audio, John.
Brandon, you said the map is not the reality. What do you mean by that?
I mean, I can create a model or representation of something that does not reflect the true nature of what that thing is. I can describe something, let's say write down its dimensions and all that stuff, and that may or may not look like or reflect what the object actually is, right?
Okay.
Like you could trade curvature for, that's what I was trying to get at. You could trade curvature for perspective and the model would still work.
No, it wouldn't.
Let's do a thought experiment, just 30 seconds, right? You and I are in a maze, okay? We both have a map of the maze. But our maps are different, right? Now, I predict, looking at my map and assuming that it's an accurate representation of the maze, I predict if I turn left, right, right, left, left, right, left, I'll get out of the maze. You make a similar prediction with your map. Now, if I follow the prediction, I follow my map and I get out of the maze and you don't, that means that my map is an accurate representation of the reality of the maze and yours isn't. See, I mean, there's always this, we don't live on a model. There's always this criticism of models by flat earthers because you don't have one. But what's the problem with this thought process? If I have a model and I use it to make a prediction, and that prediction, when we test it, turns out to be true, then that means that at least in that respect, my model is an accurate representation of reality.
I don't think anybody's denying that there's utility to the models and the calculations that have been set up by heliocentrists.
Now you're
I'm not denying that.
Well, again, kudos, because a lot of flat earthers will just consign models to the trash heap.
Brandon, here's something that I'm extremely curious about with you, Brandon. You understand the idea of Dungeons and Dragons, and when we were kids, we used to come up with these models of our dungeons that we would play this game on. Now, those are just models that we put together out of our imagination. Now, I also have a roadmap of the state of Michigan, and I can use that roadmap to go from here to Marquette because it's an accurate representation of where the roads are. Do you feel that the heliocentric model was a Dungeons and Dragons style thing that we all just kind of came up with? Or do you think that it is more like a roadmap, which is based on measurements and reality and exploration? And we can use that in turn to actually understand what the road system is.
Bob, you're dating
that
yourself saying that you still use a map.
I think that for some reason, there has been a desire by those in power, the scientific community and the kings and such that started off with back in the day. I'm answering your fucking question. Let me answer.
No, you're not. You're introducing.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It's all right. It's all right. Allow him to say a sentence without interruption, please, guys. You're able to get your thought
I'm
out.
interested in hearing what he has to say.
Perfect. Yeah, I do too.
No swearing,
And-
Brandon, please.
And for some reason, they were hell-bent on the idea that the Earth is not the center of the universe and is a ball, a self-enclosed universe by itself, rotating through space. They came up with this idea and matched it to reality, and that's been refined over the last 500 years, so that measurements and whatnot match the model. But that it may be possibly hiding a deeper truth is that we are not enclosed on a ball and there's more outside of that ball. And that perspective has been hijacked and called curvature to hide the fact that there's more to the world and that it is not what we've been told throughout the years by those in power.
So you're saying it is something that is made up in the minds of people like a dungeon. And it's not something
made out of
that's
whole
made
cloth.
up like a roadmap. Is that what you look at as science is made up by committee versus an actual measurement of what the road and accurate representation of what the road system is?
Well, you had to make it accurate enough so that we wouldn't figure out that it doesn't reflect reality.
Exactly what I just said he would do. He did.
Conspirators.
That makes sense to me then.
Okay, then maybe it was accidentally developed that. Maybe they're wrong. I'm not saying.
Maybe you're wrong.
And now he's had.
Maybe.
Brandon,
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what a lot of us are trying to determine. But I don't think I'm wrong.
No, you're not.
Humanity has to figure it out, I'm afraid.
Could we?
Sorry, Brent, just a quick
Yeah,
comment.
I've been trying to get in for a while.
Okay, sorry, Blake. I'll step out. There you go.
I wanted to go back to the sun and ask Brandon a question. In your reality, Brandon, does the inverse square law for light work? Is that the way light behaves? If you get twice as far away from a light source, the light is 1/4 the intensity. Does that make sense to you?
I've never substantiated it myself, but so I don't really know for sure. Lou,
Okay.
but go ahead.
Well, that's part of the question. Maybe you could look into that and see if you can verify that that's true or not. The other question.
Are you saying it's true, Lou? Just to.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, it is quite true.
Wouldn't the moon be like super bright if you got to its surface since it's 240,000 miles away?
No, it wouldn't. But that's not the point I'm going to. I can explain
go ahead.
all that stuff about the moon too. But I know you don't. I know you say you don't have a model, but everything I've heard says the sun is I don't know, somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 miles away. Is defined as small and local. It's maybe 30 or 40 miles in diameter and 3,500 miles above us. Are those numbers reasonable in your mind?
I would say they're plausible, but I don't know what the nature of the sun is.
Yeah, right.
But that's plausible, yeah.
This is a measurement that you can actually make at noon on a bright sun, cloudless day. The sunlight in your backyard is going to be something on the order of 110,000 lux. That's nice bright sunlight. At sunset, the light level is down to about 400 lux. Now, if that 3,500 mile number is correct, you can work these numbers out. If the inverse square law is right, the sun would have to have moved 58,000 miles away.
Hey, Blue, how does that make sense on a distant 93 million mile away sun that it would be such a difference, such a small distance?
That's a red herring.
Difference away from the sun?
We're talking about the local sun, Brandon. Please stay on topic.
No. I think that's a legitimate question, don't you, Blue?
No, and it's quite easily explained. But the question is, how does that happen on a flat Earth? The sun doesn't have to move away from us on a spinning globe. We spin, we move away from it, and it's not the distance we move away. It's that's not what it is. My question though is, how can the sun move 58,000 miles further away to get that kind of reduction in light intensity? It's just something for you to think about.
So, well, let me answer. So at noon, we're directly facing the sun, right? And then at sunset, theoretically, we've moved 1/4 rotation. So we're whatever the distance of the hypotenuse and then the angle to the sun, whatever. That's how far away we are, right? Maybe we'll just call it just for shorthand, like let's just say 4,000 miles. That work? 6,000.
The flat Earth is rotating, Brendan. Did you say?
What percentage of 93 million miles is 6,000 miles, and why do we see such a difference?
You're doing it again.
Lux value.
That's a red herring.
Well, yeah, no, it's not a red herring.
We're not concerned.
Yours is a red herring too.
We're talking about the flat Earth, and Blue's asking you how. He's telling you how far the sun would have to move away above a flat Earth, a small localized sun, and he's asking you to explain the 58,000 miles.
He's setting up a straw man for me and asking me to explain the straw man because I don't know the nature of the sun.
Claiming you don't know the nature of something. Claiming you don't know the nature of something is not a defense, Brandon. All right, it's very easy. Well, I've got a dog sleeping on a cushion next to me. I don't know the nature of the dog, so I can't say that that's a dog. All right, I can go over and pet the dog and see that it's a solid object. All right,
I can't go over and pet the sun, can I, Bob?
No, but you can measure things from the sun. And the bottom line is simply saying you don't know the nature of something is not an excuse for not being able to answer a question or explain something. Sure it is. It's a cop-out.
You don't even know what the sun is, Bob. You say you know, but you don't know what the sun is.
The what. You don't have to know the what to sit there and
You don't know how it functions.
I see that thing.
You don't know what it's made out of.
What does that have to do with anything?
Then how can you say it doesn't work the way that we observe it works?
How? No, you just said you made a claim. Now you have to, one, you have to substantiate that. Two, you have to show the relevance of that claim.
What claim did I make? That you don't know what the sun is?
Go ahead. You said we.
Do you know what the sun is?
Of course we do.
No, you don't. Have you been to the sun?
Here's a
how have you measured what the sun is?
There it is.
I don't have to be someplace to personally measure it.
No, you can observe you can observe it, the impacts that it has, what it does.
Right, let me follow
but you've
up
never
on
been there. You don't know what the
to
sun
make
is.
it a little easier for you.
Oh, time out.
You have assumptions. You're assuming you know what it is.
We know what it is.
No,
all right, so let's follow up on Blue's question and make it a little easier for you, Brandon. All right, you understand that light and heat, for that matter, follows the inverse square law because heat is electromagnetic radiation, right? You understand that, right? So at 12 noon, I can hold my hand out. I can hold my hand out and feel the warmth of the sun on my hand. At sunset, I can turn my hand 90 degrees and feel the warmth of the sunset on my hand. They are substantially
just as you would expect with
different.
A local sun.
They are substantially different. Now, if the difference between the heat on my hand at noon and the heat on my hand at sunset requires the sun to be 58,000 miles away, how do you explain that?
We've only moved 6,000 miles. how do you explain the large delta between the movement of at noon to the movement at sunset? Why would that create that much of a delta? Can you explain that to me?
I'm explaining the fact that it does change the amount of heat on my hand that much, which would require the sun to be 58,000 miles away. You
No, it
have
wouldn't.
to explain
You
the
have assumptions baked into
58,000.
your calculation, Bob.
I'm measuring the heat myself, personally.
I'm not
So
saying you're
tell
not
me-
measuring the heat correctly.
Tell me how that accounts for the 58,000 miles on a flat Earth.
One, I'm not accepting your 58,000 miles, Mark, because I don't know what assumptions that you have built
He's
into your
basically
equation.
saying
Two,
the
you
inverse
don't know
square
what
law.
the sun is. You've never been there. You've
The
only measured
inverse
the
square
the
law.
light coming out of it.
The inverse square law is the only assumption that I'm making, and the inverse square law is verifiable.
I think I answered your question. How do you know what the sun is, Bob? Let me ask a question. How do you know what the sun is, Bob?
Spectroscopes.
Hey, Bob.
So
hey,
what does a spectroscope
I'd
do?
like to answer that.
No,
We know exactly what the sun is, Brandon. Every element on Earth has a very unique signature, light signature, spectral line signature. And by looking at the light from the sun, we can identify what elements make up the sun. Just like if you leave a fingerprint behind, I do not have to physically see you place that fingerprint on a doorknob. I can identify you by looking at that fingerprint, just like we can look at the signature fingerprints of various elements, and we see that the sun is predominantly helium and hydrogen.
Kind of a false equivalency, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Not really. Not really.
Not at
Total
all.
bullshit. Total
if-
bullshit.
Stop,
What's
look,
the sun?
Brandon, stop
If you
misusing
know what the
logical
sun
fallacies.
is, what's the core of the sun? What's
No.
the core of the sun? What's the core of the sun made out of?
Brandon, why do you say we
No
don't
one
know
knows.
what the sun? Why do you say we don't know what the sun's made of?
All you've done is you've
Why
measured the light
doesn't anybody want to answer the
and the
question?
heat
What's the core of
coming
the
off
sun?
of the sun.
I'll answer.
Do you know how
I'll answer.
hot the sun is supposed to be in the heliocentric model?
How hot is it supposed to be on the flat Earth?
Well, we can measure it at ground level. We don't know how hot it is locally in the sun, or the core of the sun for that matter, which obviously you never even got the
We can
probe
measure the
close
heat
to
of the sun
That's not
locally at ground level as well.
We can
Yeah,
calculate.
and then you bake assumptions in, you make inferences, and you're guessing what the sun is made out of and how it functions.
No, Brandon,
Um,
are you saying? Hang on.
Elements. Just a minute. We've identified the elements that make up the sun. We know the nuclear reactions which generates the heat and the light of the sun. We know.
Yeah, that's the fucking outside of the sun, jackass.
All right.
Stop
Brandon,
saying
are
you
you
know what the sun is. All you know is
Brandon-
what the observation of the sun, what you're observing is. You don't know the core of the sun. You don't know what the interior makeup of the sun is. Give me a
Brandon,
break. Fucking glorious.
Brandon,
Can we
are you
take this
saying-
back for a second? Can we
Hang-
take
hang-
this
hang on,
back and
just give me- let me
yeah,
ask-
listen. I just want to point something out. We have like 5 people that are just continuing to talk over each other. Can we just do it one at a time, please? That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Please, everybody, take note.
I just want to ask one question, Brandon. Are you saying spectroscopes don't work?
Did I say that? No, of course I'm not saying they don't work. I'm saying the
well-
conclusions you draw are not
No.
substantiated.
No. We say we know what the sun's made of
I
because
know
we
you do.
can spectroscopically analyze it, right?
Yes,
So-
and I'm saying that I don't accept your explanation because you haven't provided enough evidence for what the sun is, what's in the core of the sun. You
We
tell
know
me
what
it's what 2.5 million miles or 2.5 million degrees hot.
No, hang on. No, let me finish. Let me finish this. I'm just talking about what it's made of, what gases it's composed of. Okay. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole about what the core's made of. Let's just talk about what it's composed of. Now
Sure.
we know what that is because we can fire a spectroscope at it. Right
So,
now,
so says you. So 93 million miles away. When have you ever validated that you can measure using a spectroscope at 93 million miles?
well, I can aim a spectroscope at a chamber of gas across the other side of a laboratory, and then I can.
It's a lot different than 93 million miles, isn't it?
He's just
Why?
lying.
Why? No, hang on. Why? Why is that different?
You're telling me that that's the same
Wait.
across the room and 93 million miles away? When have you ever validated that a spectrum
No,
does
he's
work
asking you
like that
what the
from that
difference
distance?
is, not for you to ask him a question. Explain what the difference is between him doing a local observation and doing a distant observation, and why you have a problem with it.
Obviously, the distance.
Okay.
Right, so what's changing? Is the light being affected, or is the data being corrupted over distance?
I have no idea. Have you ever validated that your tool works over those kind of distances?
That's a false dichotomy.
No, it's not.
Can you
Have you validated
demonstrate
your
what the
tool?
error would
Have you
be?
validated your assumptions?
You're saying it must be different.
Just say no. Just say no. You haven't validated it.
This is very important. Very important shout out to Digital Demonic Davros for $2. Jose Child Care Service. Big shout out to Davros, bro. Boom. I'm hanging in here. This is entertainment. This is what it's all about. Talk and let talk, chat and let chat. You guys coming a little hard to Brandon, but Brandon is a strong guy. He's holding himself up. So carry on. Let's try not to be too abusive one side to another, anybody. So let's continue. This is good.
I'd like to point out that Brandon did it again. He shifted the conversation away from the flat Earth and onto a globe discussion. We were talking initially about the flat Earth. So once again,
you were talking about your straw man of the flat Earth that you're trying to make me defend.
Should I
straw man
here? Did I make a
Sure it
comment?
is.
I need to leave. But Brandon a while back mentioned there is an issue with the three-body problem, and he has a misconception, just like many people do, regarding the three-body problem. It's solvable. It's just not solvable in closed form. You cannot write down a nice closed form equation where you plug in the time and you know the for a future event on one of the bodies to know what the position and velocity would be. But we use numerical techniques with computers. The problem is completely solvable using iterative techniques.
How can we straw man your model when you don't have one?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You keep trying. It's a good question.
Well, no, he's trying to say it's a straw man because we're saying, is it this? And then he's saying, oh, well, you're making me defend that argument now. When actually what we're doing is we're posing questions, which is why I keep pointing out that he's not invoking a straw man in a valid manner.
You know, here's
Erebus
the
was
problem.
definitely
He
invoking
claims
a straw
that the
man.
Earth is, you know,
No.
I said that the Earth was a flat plane, and he claimed that that was a straw man. That's the entire core of his argument. It's certainly, I'm not straw manning him on that. I'm simply saying if the Earth is a flat plane, well, you're making a model that's a straw man. You know, this
I'm
is
trying
just
to
a game he's
scientifically
playing.
validate. I'm trying to scientifically validate what the Earth actually is.
No, you're not.
I'm not
Please
trying to create a
please
model.
don't invoke science, Brandon. You're not using it.
Well, sure. Okay, Bob.
I
You
can show
have-
you a picture of it if you like.
So the problem I have, a model is just a description. It's a description that is pretty concise in how we actually form it, and it's therefore something we can consistently check against reality to see if it still works. If it doesn't work, we were fucking wrong. Sorry, we were wrong. Yeah, that's all a model is. A model is just a description of what we observe. And I don't know why you have the problem with that, because if you want to get to the reality, you've got to have a description of the reality that you're trying to get to, and therefore that in itself is a model.
So the sun is 3,000 miles above our head at any given moment, right?
I don't know. When I go outside, does that
it's not
sun look
rotating.
93 million miles
Hold on.
away?
It's not rotating. I didn't say. See, there you go. Talking about the globe again. Let's talk about the flat Earth. So it's 3,000 miles above our head at any given time. Period. Right? It's not rotating. We're not rotating. Right? It's just traveling a path.
I don't know how far away the sun is.
You already agreed that roughly 35,000 miles above our head was pretty close.
No, I think I just said go ahead for your
3,500.
example, but no, I don't know how far away the sun is.
Oh,
And
now
neither
you
do
don't know at all. Okay, so you don't, but you can. But wait,
you
but you
don't
can
know-
make claims based on
I am-
not having no knowledge.
I
you don't-
agreed for the sake of moving the argument forward. I do not know how far away the sun is, just to be
If
clear.
you don't know how far away it is, how do you know it's not 93 million miles away?
Because it is obviously local. When you go outside, you can just
That's
look
claim.
at it. No, it's not 93 million miles away.
That's a knowledge claim.
How's it
Why?
obvious? It's that close.
It is.
You
How?
understand? You understand things that are a long
Well,
way
I think-
away can be bigger, right?
I think,
these are
yeah,
small, far away.
Yes,
know?
I've heard your explanations for, the
Well,
distances of how far things are away and how big they are.
Are you denying perspective now?
But you just told us that
nice try.
we hijacked perspective to hide the curve. To claim, no, it's curve, it's not perspective. And now you're saying it's not that far away because of perspective. I mean, make your bloody mind up. How do you know it's not 93 million miles away? There's no good just saying, oh, it's obvious, it's close. No, it's not. There's nothing obvious about it at all. That's just you wanting it to be.
Well, I think
All right, guys. Hey, let me
blew,
get a quick break, Brandon, because I gotta walk the dog, so I gotta step out for a few minutes. I want to do a quick plug and welcome you all for being here. I'm gonna share my screen really quick. So while I do the shout out to the people in the panel, remember we should be very close to 100 likes over here. 9 thumbs down. I like it. We can even make it to 20 thumbs down, but 100 thumbs up is the requirement. So 137 people watching. Very good. Thank you very much for checking in. If you please want to go ahead and hit the thumbs up or down if you haven't done so, I will appreciate that. Consider joining as a member, and we will get more details and more fun along the way. We are currently joined by Adric, Big Blue, Bob the Science Guy, Brandon Toy, Motown FE, Carlos Pagan, Channel Q, Digital Prison, Erebus, Barbazoo, Farmer's Boy, George Nachek, John Bernards, Rusty P, Schrodinger's Cat, and Jones Meat. Thank you very much. Channel Q, shout out to you. Channel Q is hooking me up with a couple emojis as my membership. If you guys click on the emojis icon, if you're a member, and you can use some special emojis. I got a few over here special, so I'm going to keep adding along the way, and we'll keep upgrading them. Shout out to Channel Q. Shout out to everybody in the chat for hitting the like. For the super chats, Davros, what did you say, Davros? Warm milk and nap time. Boom! Boom to you, sir. Well, carry on, guys. Good stuff.
Brandon, do you remember the video that Jose played earlier on showing 24-hour sun in the Antarctic?
Yeah, I've seen that video before. We kind of picked that video apart over on Ranties with Brenda there. I don't know if she remembers that, but
okay.
I would suggest you guys go watch that one. There's some problems with that video.
Yeah, look, I've just watched Ranty making an idiot of himself over conspiracy cats flight path video. Sorry, no. He claimed a flight path that went north of New Zealand was exactly the same as one that went south of New Zealand, so that's rubbish. Look,
I think his claim actually was that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Yes, it is. No. His claim was that drawing a line due east from Sydney to Santiago on a Mercator projection is the same as the Great Circle route from Sydney to Santiago on a globe, which it isn't, for about 5 reasons.
Well, he's not here, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But go ahead, fill with your point.
What's your explanation for 24-hour sun, other than saying all the videos are fake?
Well, I have to say, I haven't seen a good video that I would call trustworthy of the 24-hour Antarctic sun.
So they're all fake.
Yeah,
they're all
the
fake.
ones that I've seen.
Arctic
sun, obviously, those ones are real.
Yeah,
so
wait, why are the Antarctic ones fake?
Because there's problems with them. There's either editing or there's looping or
no.
The ones I have seen.
Do you understand? Let's talk this black swan nonsense. You understand they all have to be fake, or the Earth isn't flat. It's like pictures from space. They all have to be fake, or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. One photo of a globe from space means it's not flat. One video of a 360-degree camera turning around following the sun for 24 hours in the Antarctic is impossible on a flat Earth.
No, we've seen a lot of fakery from NASA and the Associated Science Agency, so I really have a hard time trusting anything that comes from any establishment sources.
Okay, so they're all fake. No, I just want to hear you say they're all.
A lot of them, yeah,
fake.
they're fake. Yeah,
they're all fake.
Of the. Oh, no, here's the thing. Let me answer this because you're going to play semantics games with me. I don't trust anything that comes from NASA. Period. I have seen fakery in those 24-hour Sun Antarctic videos that I've seen. I don't trust those videos. I have not seen evidence of a 24-hour Antarctic sun that I trust.
They don't come from NASA.
I'm not
And
saying
you've
they
never
come from
seen
NASA.
fakery in the ones from the Arctic Circle, the North Pole, right? Is that what you're saying?
I have seen ones that I do trust that are not fake, obviously.
But never from the South.
Because he doesn't
Right.
believe in the South Pole as we see it. That's why. He can't
So-
argue the North Pole, 'cause the North Pole corresponds to his model.
Well, I don't have a model and I don't have beliefs. I'm trying to look for the
really?
evidence to substantiate what really is.
You
Just
don't have beliefs, but you
No.
think this is lying.
Just to nail down your position, all the ones taken in the Arctic are fine, but all the ones in the South Pole are fake.
I didn't say all. I stated it very carefully what I said.
But you do accept that they all have to be fake, or the Earth is.
If you show me a video of an Antarctic sun that it can substantiate as real, then we'll have a discussion. I haven't seen one yet.
How would you do that? How would you substantiate whether or not they were real?
Good question.
You understand we've had
That's
people.
why I asked it.
You understand we've had people on the channel who have been to the Antarctic and witnessed it for themselves. So not only do the videos need to be fake, but all the people that we've spoken to and I've spoken to who've been to the Antarctic for 6 or 9 months, they must also be lying.
So we're going to talk
Brandon,
about
one
people who aren't here who have said this.
Brandon, one problem.
Have you been there and seen it?
One
Adrian?
problem that you have, Brandon, is that if you talk about substantiating things, you have to have some sort of criteria by which you can substantiate them or unsubstantiate them. Simply saying, I don't know how I would substantiate something means that you have no criteria for doing that. So therefore, you will never be able to substantiate anything because you don't even know what you're looking for.
To be fair, he didn't actually say how he substantiated, which is why my question was. So once again, Brandon, how do you substantiate whether or not something is real or fake when it comes to footage, such as what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I agree. I would look for obvious signs of fakery. I would look for if there's any time lapse. You'd have to consider the source that it's coming through. I would have to consider if there's multiple verifications of the same observation. I think there's a lot of considerations when you're looking at information on whether you can validate it and say, you know what, I believe this. I'm willing to base my beliefs on this piece of footage.
And you've done that for footage from the North Pole.
Yeah.
Okay, but you've not done that for footage from the South Pole. Is that correct?
Correct. And I've seen quite a bit of the supposed 24-hour sun footage in the South Pole. The ones that I have seen are edited. They have cuts out of the time lapse. There's cloud formations that repeat in them, and other such issues. And I don't know what those sources are either. So that's another issue.
Brandon, big shout out to Charlie. Have you heard of Charlie? Charlie worked in the Antarctica. He was there for like a long time. He was here. He did a small presentation once. I told him, I'm looking forward to do a little special with him. Well, he was kind of a small part, 10, 15 minutes last time, but I'm looking forward to have a chat with Charlie. Now, my question is, Charlie, are you willing to come in and have a little bit of a conversation with Brandon for like 5 minutes, maybe just the two of them, and nobody will interrupt? Because I really do have to round up the show, but I would love to Charlie to just have a little exchange so you can tell him what you know, Charlie, and then we maybe plan something for the next few days to have you a longer time. Yeah, Charlie is cool, man. He's been there. He provided a bunch of links and videos. He worked there for over a year. He was there, if I'm not sure. So cool, Charlie. I think he's coming. Let me share the link with him, and he's a good guy, man. All right,
That's
Charlie,
perfect.
come here, man.
Yeah, another thing is, I'm not trying to move the goalpost, but I'm not even sure if you showed me a 24-hour sun, or sunlight, if that would necessarily invalidate the flat Earth model. No, whoever's talking, I can't hear him.
Do you see the video that I'm sharing at the moment?
We're watching a 24-hour sun.
Find me, invalidate this one for me.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I'm gonna play devil's advocate as a flat earther now. Now, what I heard from them is this video is not an unedited video. It's been manipulated because you see where it say daytime, where you got the degrees in the bottom, or you got the overlays, the CGI overlays like north right here. They say, look at the north, how you go behind the mountains. This is their escape. It's been manipulated, so you can manipulate it.
They're just captions.
Yeah, they're just captions.
I know, but it's been manipulated. That's the escape. I mean, it's Brandon. What do you think? What do you think about this video?
Yeah, obviously there's some overlays. Something looks unnatural about this video. I'd have to take a closer look in detail to really give you my opinion.
Yeah, before Adric, thank you for showing this. Let's give the floor respect. Give the floor to Charlie. Charlie, how you doing, sir? Thank you for joining.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Loud and clear. Very good.
Good. Yeah, that video, I've actually probably stood right at the spot that video was taken. It's right off right on the Ross Ice Shelf, just off of Scott Base. The green buildings are Scott Base. One of the hills in the background is something called Ob Hill, and Antenna Hill is off to the right of it. And that's all very real. That's exactly what you would see if you spent a year in McMurdo during the summer.
Brandon and Charlie just have a little convo over here for a few minutes. If you got any questions or concerns, Charlie's the person that he has been there. You want to give a quick summary? What is your involvement with the Antarctica, Charlie? Because you have something going on, huh?
Yeah, well, I after taking astronomy and physics classes at the University of Washington, I wanted to do something interesting after I graduated, and I found a job that would take me to Antarctica because I thought I'd always wanted to go there. So I found a job that would take me there. It had me stationed at McMurdo for the little over a year, and I spent a couple of weeks at the South Pole because the equipment they had a similar copy of the equipment I was monitoring at McMurdo also at the South Pole, so I traded off with the people that were working there. And I was involved in monitoring cosmic ray fluxes, auroral activity, upper atmospheric physics sort of stuff.
Cool.
What you got, Brandon, for Charlie? Just a few minutes before we round up the show.
Yeah, I would say, Charlie, not to call you a liar, but I would like to see some actual evidence rather than just your summary of what you've seen.
Well, in that case, you kind of are calling me a liar. But in any case, it's pretty clear. I mean, all I have is still slides, and I have not bothered scanning them. But even so, it's clear from the denialism of all the other things. And as Jose points out, I've presented something on the order of 5 or 10 time lapses of the sun.
Kind of off script, You just say like, yeah, I can find some, and you find a bunch of them. Like not even, you didn't even have them line up. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So there are quite a few, and yet the comment is they're all fake. And they really can't be fake. Even if there's a dropout of an hour, for some reason the idea is that the sun has set and come back up in that 1 hour and is back at the same elevation above the horizon. That seems very unlikely. I can't imagine how that could happen.
Yeah, like I said, the videos that I've seen, I have not been impressed by. If you have some evidence that you would like to put forward, or maybe they're
Why
in
have you not been impressed by the
Check it
videos
out.
you've seen? What's wrong with them?
Sorry, what's that?
What's wrong with the videos you've seen? What's wrong with the video that Jose just showed?
Like I said, I'll have to take a closer look at the video. I'm not going to, debunk it on the fly, but there seems to be obvious manipulation in that video. It doesn't look natural.
I mean, if you haven't been there, how can you say it doesn't look natural?
The video itself doesn't look natural.
What about it doesn't look natural?
The way the sun looks unnatural.
Why? What about the sun looks unnatural?
Obviously using a, what is it called? A GoPro lens of some kind. It looks like a picture from Google Earth with the sun pasted in. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Google Earth.
Cross, you're really struggling, aren't you?
I'm still not understanding why it's unnatural. Why, if it's what if it's a GoPro camera?
Well, I just said that
it's still above the horizon 24 hours.
It looks like pictures from Google Earth, and I'll have to take a closer look at it. Okay, and then I'm happy.
It essentially is a picture from Google Earth. I mean, if you're looking at the ground view from Google Earth, all pictures that anybody takes from street views look like images in Google Street View.
Yeah, I don't know the
I don't really understand that comment.
I don't know the provenance of that video or how it was constructed.
Would you like, Adric, would you like to screen share that video while they talk for a few more minutes before we round up, and we'll get the video in the background, please?
And you could go to Antarctica. I got a job there. You could do that too.
Yeah, I'm currently happily employed, so I don't really have time for a second job. I would make a trip to Antarctica. I would have no problem doing that.
Well, I think that until you can go there, then I don't really think you can say that I am wrong.
Yeah, I really don't have the evidence to say that you're right either, Charlie. I'm not calling you.
As I said,
I need solid evidence.
Well, the strange thing is, going all the way back to the time of Robert Falcon Scott and before, there is testimony to a 24/7 sun in Antarctica. Literally by essentially everybody that spent any time there. So
did you witness it, Charlie? Did you witness it on your own, Charlie?
Pardon me?
Did you witness the sun 24 hours on yourself?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the groups I was working with had a solar observations they were doing at the South Pole to try to look for solar oscillations. And they did it at the South Pole because they could do it 24 hours a day, continuously. And the amount of air that the sunlight passed through was essentially constant because the sun essentially stayed at the same elevation above the horizon for 24 hours. And that was continued and is continued today. I believe there's still solar observations that are done at the South Pole just because of that. So, and as I say, there's there's a publication history going back to the time of Scott and before of the 24/7 sun in Antarctica. There's, scientific papers that have documented this. There's at least, I think I've given Jose at least 10 videos of this. And there's no reason, I mean, are all of those people lying?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with all of
That's essentially what you're saying. Pardon me?
I'm not familiar with all the claims that you're stating, Charlie. I don't know who all these people are or what the providence is or the evidence that they've put forward.
Yeah, because it happened a few months ago and you didn't watch that, so
right.
It's fair.
Brandon, you've never heard of Robert Falcon Scott?
I've heard the name before, yeah. I think I probably read his story once or twice. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Or Roald Amazon?
Yeah, isn't he the guy that froze to death down there? Got buried.
That would be Scott. What about Shackleton?
Yeah. I'm familiar with their stories.
All of them describe the 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Well, speaking of Antarctica, here's another problem that I have. Not to change the subject, but I understand where you're coming from, and what you're saying, and I appreciate your testimony. Why is it there aren't any flights directly over the North Pole from one side to the other?
Okay, great.
Not to change the subject, but you change the subject.
Yeah. No, let's do this before we address that, Brandon, really quick. Charlie, you know where to find me. I think you're a member of my Discord server. If not, just in the description box, send me a direct message. Can you put maybe like maybe half an hour to an hour presentation type of thing? Like you said, like, all right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk about this. Maybe share a few links that we can share with the public. And let's do it in the next few days. So I can, in the top of the show, I'll share the link with you. You come in, you talk about stuff, we present their case, and then we'll open the panel for the rest of the people. If that's okay with you, I would appreciate that a lot, Charlie.
Well, I'll try to get something together. I would like to, if it's okay, to move off of Antarctica. I'd like to mention something that's very much a change of topic, so you'll have to excuse this non sequitur. At one point, Brandon mentioned that he feels that the three-body problem is an issue. And I'm very puzzled as to what he thinks the three-body problem actually is.
Yeah, I didn't come here to talk about the three-body problem, but...
Well, I know, but you did bring it up.
You brought it up.
No, you brought it up earlier. I heard you mention it.
Right. So your mathematical models for gravity can't account for more than two bodies, correct?
No. No, that's not true at all.
Then what is it? You describe it to me.
Well, no, you've said it's a problem, and I'm curious why you think it's a problem.
Because you say your model is accurate, and you still have issues with it, obviously.
No, no one says they have issues with it. I'll tell you what they do have trouble. They have trouble, they cannot, with the current math, produce a closed form solution that describes the motions of three bodies around each other. It's just too complex. You can do it for two bodies, at least in Newtonian physics. You can do it for two bodies, but you can't do it for more.
So what was the issue?
Maybe there'll be a version of math eventually that will do it, but you can't do it now. What you can do, and it's essentially what happens in nature, is that you take any given position of those bodies, calculate the forces on them, increment give it a time increment, and it will have moved a certain amount, and you do that again. It's just an incremental approximation of what's going on, and this is essentially what's happening in the real world. The forces act on those bodies, they move according to those forces, they have new positions, new velocities, the forces that continue to act and just incrementally work on it. This is the three-body problem just describes the difficulty in finding a mathematical solution. It does not describe a problem with gravity.
Hey, Charlie, we should specify that more precisely. It's not that you can't find a mathematical solution. You can find a mathematical solution. You can't find the mathematical solution in a single equation that's a function of time that would give you the velocity and position. I tried to explain this to Brandon earlier.
Right.
It's completely solvable.
I would say that it's not a closed form solution.
Right, yeah. It's completely solvable using iterative techniques with...
And that's exactly what I just said.
Yes, and I've told him that earlier too.
So, Brandon, what is the problem with what is the three-body problem? Why is that a problem for you?
It means your model's incomplete. Your calculations don't work.
No, but I just told you it does not mean the model is incomplete, and the calculations do work.
Where he's getting this is this was propagated on Oakland's channel with Quantum Eraser, who doesn't understand mathematics and science.
As a matter of fact, Brandon, there's many places you can go on the internet to find people that have done iterative solutions for galaxies and the solar system and so forth that have vastly more than three bodies involved in them. And these solutions are very good. They predict the motions of, what happens when galaxies collide or long-term motions of the planets in the solar system. This is all published, it's all predicted, it's all something that you can go and measure things and see whether these sort of behaviors actually occurred. So it is not a problem. And it's the fact that you point out the three-body problem as a problem really just indicates where you're getting your information from.
He hasn't exactly.
There are some very strange three-body configurations that are stable, and you can find it.
And not only that, Charlie, is you guys don't realize that most real-world problems are so intractable to find closed-form solutions. Most of the celestial mechanics or rocket trajectories, things like this, are done numerically with computers. You have a couple differential equations or state-space matrix techniques to solve these problems. We very seldom, except for the very simplest problems, ever come up with closed-form solutions.
But I will agree with Blue here. There are three-body configurations that are stable and can be solved. These are things like the Lagrange points. Right. But in that case, those are things where an approximation has been made because one or two of the bodies is so much more massive than the others.
That's right. And for doing bodies that are nearly similar of the same mass, you have to use iterative techniques because it's too unstable to find closed-form solutions.
Yeah, well, I'll just concede that I'm not an expert on the three-body problem.
Well, then perhaps maybe you shouldn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Brandon, all right, guys, I'm happy to.
Just one really quick point.
Okay.
Brandon, in your claim, your query that no flights cross the North Pole, is that what you're saying?
Across the center of the pole from one side to the other along the same longitude line.
No, that's not what you said. You said no flights
cross the North Pole. Yeah, you've added things. Clarifying a little more, Adric, but generally that's what I mean. Across Antarctica from one side of the Earth to the other.
Okay, North Pole. You said the North Pole.
Sorry, South Pole. My apologies. I meant South.
Why would they have to go right over the South Pole if the shortest route doesn't take them over that?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, look, there's lots of flights that go straight over the North Pole, right? Just for
yeah. No, I agree with that.
Gentlemen, I'm happy to round up the show here. It's 3 hours.
Cool.
Yeah, solid, excellent show. I appreciate it. We had over 130 people watching 1 point. Very good. 83 likes. Very good. We might be able to get it to 100 while we'll do the final thoughts round. We got the membership deal thing going on the YouTube. So I was approved to have membership. There's a few tiers. So check it out. We got today we kicked off and we have 9-10 members. Shout out to Brainery, Ricky Baldwin, Tears B, Mr. Gadget, GPS, Farmer's Boy, Rusty P, RT96, Kit, and Stringer News. Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate it. Looking forward to be hanging out with you and interact more to see if we can get a lot of your input into the show and see if it works out. That's the whole idea, to make it more dynamic and entertainment for all of you to participate. I really do appreciate it. If anybody in the panel right now have to leave first and you want to give your final thoughts first, this is your moment. Raise your hand or wait for your name to be called alphabetical order. You guys. All right, let's go alphabetical order. Let's do it. Big Blue, final thoughts. Let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, in order to fly over the South Pole, you need a point of departure and a destination. Check out the map sometime and try to find a point of departure in the Southern Hemisphere to a destination also in the Southern Hemisphere that takes you directly over the South Pole. I think you'll see the problem. I also wanted to point out that saying I'm not calling you a liar and then essentially calling the guy a liar is pretty disingenuous, Brandon. You might ought to rethink that. And with that, Jose, thanks for the opportunity. Catch you on the next one.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Bob, the science guy, final thoughts?
Well, first of all, Charlie, thank you very much for coming by and putting Brandon in his place. That was literally epic. And I'm putting together a series right now on addressing flat earth arguments. With your permission, may I put your exchange in that?
Go right ahead.
Thanks. And if you would get a hold of me, I'd like to get some substantiating documentation from you.
Sure. I don't exactly know how, but we'll work on something.
Send me an email at bob@bobthescienceguy.com.
Okay.
And we'll chat some more. Thanks.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. Brandon Toy, Motown FE. Thank you for stepping up and hanging in there. I appreciate you being here, man. Give us some final thoughts.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the panel. And Charlie, I didn't mean to call you a liar. I just need something more than somebody's word for it and tenuous evidence to base my beliefs on. That's what I'm looking for. So when I say that I don't exactly trust what you're saying, that just means I want to see it in my hands. Trust but verify. And as for the video that I was looking for, if you come across that particular video with the EQ mount that I asked for when I came in here, and you want me to take a look at it, please reply to one of the videos on my channels, and I'll take a look at it. And I'm going to look at George's in more detail. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Brandon. I appreciate you coming in and checking in always the streams. Hey, shout out to Dan the Waterman. Welcome back, Dan. I haven't seen you in a while. Jose, you do a good job of hosting and moderating. Thanks. Thank you, man. Equal opportunity for all. I always tell you guys, you come in and you will have your chance to be heard and present your arguments. I'll try to keep it civil majority of the times. It go a little wild sometimes, but I like a little bit of feistiness in the air. It's part of the entertainment. So thank you. Channel Q, thank you for hooking me up with a couple of emojis. I'm still working on it. Give us some final thoughts. What do you think, Channel Q, today?
Oh, I have no idea because I was busy making emojis. I have no idea what anybody was ever talking about. I guess everybody, I didn't get to hear how that whole join thing works or whatever, but it seems pretty cool. I hope that works out good for you, Jose. It's a good show. So, yeah, happy Saturday, everybody.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's easy. I'll do a quick roundup. There's like a few tiers. The cheapest one, you pay once a month, I guess you get withdrawal. I'm not sure how it is. So you pay once a month. I think it's $4.99 for the lower one. And it's a channel shout out. So if you're a member, we'll share the link for your channel in the chat along the way a few times. I did earlier. And before I got out of here, I'm going to paste the links on the for the channels that join. Second tier is you will be able to see unlisted videos. I got hundreds of hours of after shows for a whole year and a little bit more that I never aired. Discord server calls and stuff that I got recorded. I'm going to upload those unlisted, and the members on that tier will have the link for those unlisted videos, so you're able to see it before anybody else. And nobody else will see it unless you're a member or higher. So it's good content in there. Magical content. It's mostly shit shows. You enjoy that a lot. Then the third tier is all access. You'll be able to get my direct contact. You give me ideas for the shows. You'll get the link previews to everybody else also to join the call. So you are, I'll share the link with you before we post it in the chat, and you're able to be in the call to give me ideas like, hey, let's do this, give me ideas and exchange, how we can do a little better, for input. And then we got the highest tier is the expensive one. The big boss is $99 a month. You pay $100 and you are able to control the show. And by that I say, you will able to remove one person of the panel a day. So if you got that and you got Channel Q, you say, I cannot stand Channel Q today. Boot Channel Q of the show. I'll say, Channel Q, sorry, goodbye. boom, and I remove you for that day. And then tomorrow you'll come back, and the person, if you're watching the show and you choose to remove one person from the panel, you got the power. You ask for it, and I'll give it to you. So it's kind of it's a weird one, but I think it's gonna work out beautiful. So I'm looking for who is gonna be the first person joining that one, and how are they gonna use that power? So looking forward for it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's a little more direct interaction, I think it's gonna work out just fine. I'll explain it later in a little bit of a live stream for that, just for fun. Charlie Hall, final thoughts, sir. Thank you for coming in, man.
Well, not much. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Glad I could help.
Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to have you, preparing a little bit of something and having you presented over here in this channel.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Erebus, final thoughts.
There are no valid arguments for the flat earth. Good show, Jose.
Boom, short and sweet. Thank you, sir. Farmer's Boy, final thoughts.
Yeah, difficult for evidence on the flat earth when none is presented, and yet we have to present verifiable evidence for everything. But when it comes to the flat earth, no, doesn't matter, don't care, don't have to present any evidence. It's just a belief system. Oh, yes, and I don't have beliefs. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jose. It's been interesting.
Thank you very much, Farmer's Boy. I appreciate it. George, final thoughts.
There, Jose. Yes. I get a bit frustrated when I read comments like what SC Montreal has posted here saying they cannot describe more than a three-body problem in their math, and they're going to tell us how the whole universe works. Yes, we will. Montreal is many of these problems and models require an understanding of physics and mathematics that's well beyond the high school level. And just because you have no concept of what advanced mathematics can do for you doesn't mean that it cannot describe and does not work to model these things. Advanced mathematics works very well in describing the universe and the world about us. And it's unfortunate that you cannot see that or accept that, but I guess we'll just be continually hearing this sort of dirt coming from you. Thanks, Jose.
Thank you very much, George. I appreciate it. John Bernard, are you awake? Final thoughts. Okay.
Jose, can I give a message to the president?
Yes, please.
Dear Mr. Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, I know you think you have a really big decision to make about opening up the United States economy, but I just want you to understand that you're making that decision for grown adults, and grown adults are going to make the decision. Why don't you just give us a choice? Those of us who aren't comfortable with returning to work can stay home and live off the government, and those of us who want to are grown adults, so we can make that choice for ourselves. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. John Bernards, go ahead, man. Final thoughts.
Okay. I would say thank you to Brandon. He was great. And I will also say the Earth has been proven flat over and over again. There is no question about it.
Oh.
You are in a fantasy land, Glober. You know, the example, the 24-hour sun video labs that we can show up, they can prove that the Earth must be flat. Just look into it. And I will also say, spectroscopy can't work in so long distance through the atmosphere thing. You can do spectroscopy in a lab, but not 93 million distance way to the sun. You can't do it. So that's out.
Thank you,
And I will
John.
also,
Yeah.
right, okay, I will also say, don't forget the black swan, okay?
Thank you, John. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for keeping your cool today and not going crazy in the chat. I appreciate it, man. Perfect. I was gonna say something, I forgot. Oh, I saw Tim Osman in the chat. Shout out to Tim Osman. If it wasn't for Tim Osman, this show wouldn't be, because he's the person that hooked me up with a little bit of getting comfortable with the OBS. So the first day that I went live, I shared a link with Tim Osman, and he did hook me up. He said, "All right, let's do these tweaks," and I kept learning on myself. But shout out to Tim Osman. Thank you. He always offered his help on technical issues. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Tim Osman always likes to create new channels to porn bomb.
nah, he's cool. He's cool, man. He helped me out good. All right, let's go. A few more people. We got Rusty P. Final thoughts, sir.
Yeah, hey, I thought it was a good stream, and I still find it funny how flat earthers always go to the things that the heliocentric model can't fully explain yet, or the problems that it might have, even though their own understanding of reality doesn't make sense at all. So, yeah, Brandon, maybe get a grip, you know, and maybe learn some shit, how things actually fucking work, you know. Yeah, I like the stream. It was awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. And thank you for your support, being members. You, Farmer's Boy, and everybody else for hooking me up, you know. It's going to be fun. Schrodinger's cat, you still here? Final thoughts.
Yes, sir. Still here. Thanks, Jose. Everybody come see Bob and me tonight over on Sean G's channel, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will be drinking the beer whose name cannot be spoken. And I'm not saying that Brandon's lying, but a lot of stuff he says isn't true. Thanks, Jose.
Thank you, Schrodinger's. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm going to be listening to that one indeed. And Sean Smith, final thoughts. Let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, thanks, Jose. I think you did a great job today. It was pretty interesting going over some things. Just wanted to point out that a denial of something is a claim. So you can say that you're not making a claim, but you're denying something, so that in itself is a claim. So just keep doing observations, and you know, I still think you still have one of the best shows out there, Jose.
Thank you very much, Sean Smith. I really do appreciate it. Well, I shared the link to the call. I'm going to let people in if you want to participate on the after show. It's not going to be streamed. I'm not going to record anything, but you can come in and hang out with the people in the panel still. They're going to be here for who knows how long. Sometimes they're here for 3 and 4 hours after the show ends. So you're welcome to come in. I'm going to let you in the call in 30 seconds when I go and hit the stop stream in the next computer. I'm out. Well, one person came in. This has been Jose JG Gonzalez. Boom. Thank you.
Transition period. Transition period. Transition period. Transition period. Transition period.